It's on. Welcome to the All Knicked Up podcast. And your for now host, Ty. Waiting for Eric to get done with his little bit of technical difficulties, but we'll see how well that works out. Got to pay that cable bill or whatever he's got to do, but we'll see how it works out the rest of the day. Needless to say, we know what this is about. This is the trade deadline Thursday for the New York Knicks. We decided to put together a little special show for everybody, kind of switch it up a little bit compared to our regular Wednesdays. But as you know, you might have heard there's been some news involving our favorite team, the New York Knicks. We look like we're getting a little bit of a bully mode for the remainder of the season. But as you know, we said that we're going to have a special show. So a special show means that we have to have special people involved. So I'm just going to bring them a little bit one at a time. We know about one of the dudes. So we're going to bring in the first guy who's been kind of manning the ship with me and Eric for a little bit now. I'm going to bring in that dude. You know him as Upstate Joe. Welcome to the program, Upstate Joe. If he's not blacked out, I hope he's not blacked out. Joe, can you hear us? Are you there, Joe? Oh, we're not getting Joe. It's a whole blackout. This is the month of February. Oh, here we go. I thought it was a February celebration of Black History Month because everything was blacked out. Can you hear us, Joe? You there?
I can.
Now you're there. You're there now. Getting a little bit of a signal. You getting a little feedback?
Let me try to get back in.
Yeah, I hear you now. Okay, we'll bring you back. Come on in. Well, let's skip that part, and what we'll do is get to a couple of people that you may know, you've seen before. They were regulars at one point, so we're going to bring in some of the old school OG crews from the All Knicked Up program from the beginning, and even to now, they're just more backstage presence. We'll bring in that dude from Philly, Philadelphia, as they call him. Go and bring in that dude named Craig, Mr. West. What's up? Nice seeing you, brother. How's it going?
It is going well. Going well. Good day. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain. The Knicks are doing pretty damn good right now. This pretty much makes my day. You know, between that and lottery, it's usually I better depend on the Knicks to win more. So right now, it's not too bad of a thing. But yeah, good day for basketball for New York Knicks fans. You know,
well, not tonight because they're probably going to get the.
Well, yeah, we might as well just get the six-pack and ass whoop ready because that's really what's going to probably happen. Especially if Jalen Brunson can't go, we know about our depleted staff. We'll get a little bit into that, obviously. We see another person. Hold on, we got another head popping up here. This is a dude you guys all known before. They call him the Scissor Man. If you got the poker hand, we'll bring in another oldie but goodie. Bring this dude to the stage to see what's going on. Mr. Cicerani, what's good, my brother? How's it going?
It's a good day in Nickland, man. I'll tell you.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you too, brothers. I mean, it's been a little bit of a minute, but you know, we started this thing all as a four horsemen. It became a little apocalyptic at some point. We haven't been able to kind of merge together like Voltron, but we getting there. We part of the robot. We at least got one half the arm working. We got the arm working. We might get the neck working. We'll see what we can do about that. And he's I don't know. Everybody's curvy tonight. I don't know. It's your right show.
Hold on.
Oh, let's get him right now. Hold on. We can get Joe back in. We got Joe. Mr. Upstate Joe.
Hey, man, sorry about that.
There you go. And you had blacked out. I said it was Black History Month. You know, I'm glad that you respect both I and Craig, you know, during this time of the month because the screen was complete black, and now John's black. So everybody's black tonight. This is really a beautiful thing. This is all that Martin Luther King meant, was to see us all in black like this. This is a beautiful thing.
Greg, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you as well, sir.
Always. And we're going to bring in one of the more darker skinned guys I do know, although he's kind of on the light skin side of the family, as we always say. You know, but let's bring in the whole. We just have a blending moment here. It's going to be a Milano something mansion going on in here. Oh, that's not
there we go.
Trying to turn on the light.
Get this thing sideways, man.
We got the
That's what I was trying to do the entire time. My God.
Oh, here we go. We got the angle. Oh, well, let's bring in this light skinned dude, dog.
What's going on, John? Good to see you, man.
What's up,
He
Joe?
needs more introduction. We're gonna bring in light skinned E. What's up, E?
Fun.
You done paid your cable bill. Now we back in the building. This is good, man. No technical.
This must have been one of those things where they're diverting their Wi-Fi to some poor minority family because of Black History Month or something.
Nah, this is crazy.
They tapped in, huh? Everybody tapped in.
This is crazy. A lot of us, all of us.
Yeah, man.
The original four and then Joe's here too, all together. This is a seminal moment.
Man, we're Voltron for real now. I think was it 4
You were 5
lions?
lions, yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you, we might be in the building tonight. Let's see what's good.
It's more Power Rangers for me, though.
Power,
That's more
with your age appropriate stuff. You got to ruin it. You got to ruin it for all the
Craig.
Power Rangers. What the hell? He's talking
It was
about
basically the same thing.
I used to dislike the one with the cars because it was just too many of them damn cars.
That's true.
Voltron, so I'm like,
So many cars.
who the hell's gonna buy that toy in KB and Toys R Us? Somebody wants to do that. Come on, that's crazy. You know your parents would have threw you out the house asking for that many damn cars to make that robot. But that's needless to say. You might get a little wheel. That's about it out of one of the cars. But so well, we're here. We're here. I mean, E, do you want me to just keep going or?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Join in. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we can. We can both kind of host. It's fine.
Yeah, everybody has the mic. It's like a Nas. One mic, everybody got a mic. So we'll see what goes on. But while we might as well just start talking about initially why the show came about, which was about us getting together for one to get back from camaraderie. We haven't been together in a long time, all together.
True.
So this is a beautiful thing, and moving it to Thursday made it comfortable for everybody to be able to come on and join. So for those that don't know, we are still the Jackson 5. I don't know who's Tito. I don't know who's Marlon. I'm not changing my nose, so I ain't Mike. I don't know who the hell the rest of y'all knows. But needless to say,
I don't know that I'm direct Jackson family, but I'm definitely a cousin, maybe.
Your cousin? I'm not singing ABC. That's Eric's part. He does all the singing in the group.
I'm not saying
You lead singer, Eric. The rest of us just gonna be doing the moves. That's it. Well, it is a good time. A good day for the Knicks. I mean, not all the way good, but good enough. I mean, we're at trade deadline, and we were all probably sitting here waiting to not talk about much tonight. That was one of the fears, is that they probably didn't do a damn thing, and we're sitting here bored. Talking out of our arse, but needless to say, we do see that the Knicks have obviously stepped up to the plate, and they did something that I don't think nobody saw coming, other than maybe Alec Burks. But Bojan coming over to the Knicks and what was seeming like a minimal trade at this point, what they gave up as far as assets. We knew that Quentin Grimes was obviously not happy here. A lot of the young players are not happy in New York, as we could see. And he wanted his exit plan out of here, and they accommodated him. But it also, the Knicks are depleted. We know about the injuries. Keep the name that's on my bottom here on the ticker. Oh, geez, Doctor Who, Doctor Where, I don't know when. But we know that he's now had surgery. We had no clue about that. We can get into all that stuff, but let's go off the cuff. What does everybody think about the trade today and how the Knicks made out? Anybody want to start? Go right ahead.
I'll start. I want to read a quote from Michael Scotto today, and I believe this probably posted this article before the trade happened. It starts off with him saying, one executive believed the Knicks don't need to make a move. However, and are already one of the top teams in the East if fully healthy. I think the Knicks are the second best team in the East, a rival NBA general manager told Hoops Hype. I don't want to see the Celtics and the Knicks in the playoffs, then Milwaukee and Philly. It's amazing watching Jalen Brunson. That mother bleeper just finds a way. I'd take him over Tyrese Halliburton. I consider taking him over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's got the perfect coach for him in Tom Thibodeau, Anunoby has been great for them. Dante DiVincenzo is shooting like Steph Curry all of a sudden too. Now that's prior to the trade, these trades going down.
Wow.
And that's again, I don't know who that GM is, but when's the last time we've had anyone say that anything close like that about the Knicks?
Publicly.
Publicly, yes, publicly, yes. That's the nuance, right? Publicly. So that's all I got to start off with.
I might have been handsome the last time that happened.
Joe had hair the last time that happened.
I might have been handsome the last time that happened. Now I just look like a criminal.
Nice.
So that's just something to start the show off with, some positivity.
That's cool.
It definitely is a new day. I'm probably the most pessimistic one of us, I think. But it definitely is a new day with how the team is perceived, for sure. So I think that's a good thing. It doesn't bother me. That's something I know bothers Craig, how we're perceived nationally. It doesn't bother me as much. I know historically when people have made comments or left the Knicks out of conversation or have been heavy-handed on the criticism, that's gotten to Craig a little bit. So it's kind of cool that, he's kind of having a moment right now. So I'm happy for him over there because, man, I mean, this is strange territory that we're in. It's a very, very interesting time because while I know what they're doing, they're going for it now. Like they know they have Brunson and Randall on really good contracts. So they're going for it now because that bill's coming due. They're going to want they're both going to be eligible possibly for Supermax deals. Randall definitely is. He already is. He made All-NBA twice, 3-time All-Star. So he's definitely already eligible for it. I don't know if he'll ask for that, but his agent might, right? So it's kind of an interesting time to be in. And while I don't love the direction, I don't love giving up on young guys. I don't love because I think it's hard to build a sustained winner if you don't have youth. But I understand. I mean, it's been a long time since the Knicks have won. So it's been 51 years. So if this is, their goal, then at least I can get behind that they actually do have a plan. That was always our concern. But they actually do have a plan. And I can get behind that. So
I think it's good. I think this is a solid day. I think that you got great backup. Sounds like, just like Eric said, just to piggyback off of that, we have an actual plan. And to be excited on deal day, it's been a long time. I will definitely take it. And the bench is looking nice right now. I mean, I know that these guys are older, and you said that we're giving up on youth, but everybody else is under 20, under 30. So, I mean, we gave up on Grimes. Obi was a sin, but I'll take this. Unused guys, extra filler, cap salary-wise. We'll make it. No, we lost one.
No, he's coming back. He's coming back.
I think he had a battle for a minute. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about it. We often talk about the youth movement. I know Eric's very, bullish on the youth movement. And me too. I've always respected wanting a rebuild, obviously, in New York. They always say New Yorkers don't have a stomach for it. Well, I was like, we don't have a stomach for losing either, but we've been losing for the last 30 years or 40 years.
No, okay.
So what the hell does it matter? We might as well be young and losing as opposed to old and losing. But, when we look back on the big picture now, we've seen, obviously, R.J. Barrett leave. We've seen Quickly leave. We've now seen Grimes leave. The thing that my kickback when talking about the youth and trying to keep the guys here is that we are – and I don't think you can argue when you look at – I mean, like Brunson's not like 55 years old. Randall's not 55, much like John said. You don't have a bunch of old, you don't have a bunch of 40-year-old players out there and you leverage the farm for that. You've got guys that are basically reaching their prime in the NBA, between that 25 to 28 years of age. That's usually when the prime kicks in for any player in the NBA. So
you're starting your 5-year window.
Yeah.
This is it. It's time to put the pieces together and get moving. 5-year window because you've got two really solid guys on two really solid contracts. Let's go.
And it's something to think about because Obi was not a young rookie. He wasn't a
No.
young dude. Grimes is not a young dude. RJ was the baby out of all the guys that we got rid of.
Mhm.
Quickly was not a baby. All these guys are 23-ish, 24, reaching that year where you might kind of, I hate it for better or less words, you got to shit or get off the pot, basically. And you're getting to the point where you've got a guy like Brunson, guy like Julius Randle, love or hate him, you still got that kind of player here who's a 3-time All-Star now. You've got real dudes here. It's not like, you can't say that the Knicks are terrible in a terrible position because they don't have guys here. It's the difference if they traded off their youth and all of a sudden we got crap players left here, like you got Penny Hardaway with 3 bad knees, then you're sitting on a damn issue here.
Right.
But Brunson, obviously at the point now, he could be an MVP candidate. You have
Absolutely.
Obviously we've had the most improved player in Julius Randle. We've all had our criticism and critiques of Julius, but in still saying that, we look at how this team is, growing. It's a growing product. Granted, we want to see Julius do well in the playoffs. That's really what we're all waiting for as far as with him. Regular season, you can't really say nothing about him. You can't say nothing other than the kind of blips he has during games that pisses you off. But we watch even this season, he's tried to come back, and he always does adjust. That's the one thing I'll give him credit for. Each year he comes back with something else that he knew he had to improve on, and he actually put in the work to do so. So your 2 best players are still on your team.
Yep.
When you look at RJ, you look at Quickly, you look at all those guys, Grimes, your best 2 players are still on your team, and they're not old. They're just
That was replaceable talent that we got rid of.
This is an important thing to kind of take note of here. Now, I understand Eric's trepidation with not building a young core.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've all at one time or another talked about the importance of building a solid young core as a foundation for a champion. Okay, so this is a different situation that I don't think you've really seen in the New York in basketball so far. Eric's always brought up, for a team to compete, they have to have, drafted a significant player through the system that's part of their core. And that's historically how things have worked. And you've seen a completely different model get rolled out here about just acquiring talent from the outside and just kind of moving the draft picks away. Now, our core is 26 to 29 right now. So with the moves that happened today, we just opened a championship window, and I'm convinced of that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And we didn't have to sell the farm to do that. We have all of our draft picks, all of them, which can be used to make us an even more monstrous team, or it can lay the foundation for whatever follows.
Mm-hmm.
Most teams that have opened a championship window have given away a lot of draft assets to put that team together. There have been several trades that Rose has made that he's acquired significant talent without having to dip into that.
Yeah.
And, we are set up now and for the future, and it was not done through the draft. So it's kind of an interesting little case study, I think, of what the Knicks actually are right now. And I think it's kind of unprecedented.
I agree. That was one of the things I was looking at today. We were talking in private chat about, the excitement and then saying, well, what the hell just happened also? Because it's just the abuse of a Knicks fan. Are we good? This really happened,
If we're healthy.
Yeah, it's like shock, And, I've been stomping the yard about Brunson. You watch anything I do on a recap, I talk about Brunson, I talk about Hartenstein. Those have been the 2 dudes that I've been, championing for the last month or so. Dante DiVincenzo in there, and I've always thought that we were a really good team then. And then today, I'm like, well, damn, we're at a point now where I'm like, well, this is contending level of what we've done if we're healthy, because this is no longer about who are we waiting for to come on the off season. It's like the time right now. It really is now where we're starting to see we can literally come in and catch the right. And Joe, this is going back to you. You were one of the first people that said when we were talking about the outcome of the season and about last year, I was big on saying that, this was a blown opportunity. And you kept saying, This year might be another opportunity. Just wait. We have to wait it out. And I think that we won't see the light or a avenue to get further in the playoffs. That avenue just happened today.
Yeah.
At the Flyers that went far this time, they're actually
Can't hear you now, Ty. We lost you.
Yeah, your mic went down.
Is he back up there?
Yeah.
Getting there.
Okay, all right.
You still got a lot of background noise. That's about it.
Yeah, there's still that vacuum sound going on.
Yeah.
That's pretty weird. We move some things around.
Are you using your mic or is it your computer mic?
No, it's regular mic. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. Hold on, let me unplug this and say. Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Still some sound in the
I have
background.
no idea what's
It is.
going on. I do hear the feedback now, but I don't know where it's coming from, actually. Let's get back into the business. But, we did turn around immediately today. And I said, well, I got to look at this as being a championship window.
Perfect.
That wasn't me. I didn't do that.
Whatever happened, it all shut
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Feedback
I don't know.
went off.
It
You're good.
wasn't me. There's a song Shaggy said. But needless to say, when looking back on,
Now you're gone.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to take over for him for a minute, yeah.
Didn't it stop when Eric went off?
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fan that's on my computer, I think.
oh, okay.
That's what you guys hear. Yeah, it's my computer
okay.
fan.
Oh,
Yeah, but I still don't know why that's shutting down his mic. That don't make sense.
No, that I don't know. That I don't know why. But the fan, the reason that the sound you hear, the vacuum sound, that's the fan.
You know what's happening? There's too much charisma going on right now.
Oh,
It's
God.
positive sign.
I added my,
It's causing
my
waves.
scarf.
I like your style. Yeah, I was wondering. It took you that long to find that towel, Eric? I mean, like
It's
you
a
go
scarf.
for 5 minutes.
No. No. I had
that is so funny.
I wanted to change something, so I was actually doing stuff behind the scenes, guys. I didn't just disappear.
Yeah. We don't know nothing else about it. Your scene, see your dang on self. We don't even know. No about your scenery. Yeah, we let's get back to the business of basketball. We have an emoji issue in our regular thread already, but I've already fucked ourselves. Inside joke people. But needless to say, yeah, when basically getting back, trying to land this plane on this thing, when looking at the team, I really woke up with this idea like we're really good right now, and it's very much a shock when I think about where we were 3 years ago. You look at it, you saw most improved by Julius and build, and we've been always hearing about the Knicks being patient, this front office being patient, and then we move forward, and like today, we, if healthy, have jumped into a whole different conversation in the NBA, and I, for one, have said the rest of the league is a little bit nervous whether they're going to come out and say it or not. They're hoping the Knicks are not healthy in the next couple of months because I don't know a weakness I see on this team right now other than the coach and the unknown about how Julius will perform in the playoffs. I just want to get you guys thought about what you think about
Kendrick Perkins is saying is that we're deep as the Pacific Ocean right now.
Yeah, Perk's been a little bullish on us.
Oh, it's nice hearing some national people talk some good stuff every now and again.
Yeah.
I'm with Craig on this one. It bothers me a little bit. You know what I mean? When everybody's just bashing us and laughing at us and stuff like that. But if you go back a couple of months and you take a look at all those quotes about Jalen Brunson, everybody's eating their words. There's one person out there that hasn't moonwalked the way back and said, Jalen Brunson's pretty good. You know what I mean? It's a good time to be a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
We've been waiting. What do you think, Joe? Oh, go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay.
I'm just
Well,
happy.
you know what? You know who we need? Craig hasn't talked since the opening, so Craig.
Yeah, what do you think about this team, where it is? Are we a championship level team? That's really what I want to get to. What is your thoughts on the moves made and how we stack up with the rest of the NBA. Obviously, we know who the elites are. The Clippers, Milwaukee, thought to be, I don't believe that no more. Boston, I'm going to go Boston Clippers and the Nuggets because they're the championship team. How do we stack up against those three, which I think are the echelon of the NBA right now, in my opinion? You might find a fourth team you believe that can be in that group. But what is your thoughts on how the Knicks fall as far as with that?
They've beat some of the best teams in the NBA. I mean, without making these moves. So I think that if we're basing it off those signature wins in the season, and now I would believe they're Eastern Conference, possibly finals level team. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because, as we see now, we're dealing with some injuries. So if they can stay healthy and build on what they've already done, I think they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They could get to the finals, but I don't want to be that optimistic just yet. I think they're deep enough. I can't see Tibbs going 10 deep. He's probably going to stick to a strict 9-man rotation, but he possibly can go 10 deep and really give a lot of his starters and stars the rest that they need. But this really helps Brunson out a lot. This helps out Julius. It helps out OG. It helps out Hart. So they're deep. I just don't know if I would call them a championship caliber team yet. I'll let Kendrick Perkins keep doing that so that I don't have to feel bad if I say it and it doesn't happen. But yeah, I think they have the ability to be really, really dangerous. And I like that. That makes me feel good. Knock on wood, if everyone can get back and be healthy by March.
I'm going to ask you a question on this too, just to piggyback. Being that we got in those two guys, we got in Bogdanovich and Alec Burke. How does that weigh in on you wanting DeJounte Murray? Would you still take him over those two guys? Albeit they've given us depth now, obviously with the shooting. Our bench has been bolstered. We're talking about when bringing back a whole healthy squad, and that's the wish for us all. How do you see those guys fitting as opposed to if you had your wish and got DeJounte Murray instead?
I feel like they would have been a lot more athletic and dynamic. But the other, I'm assuming any smart GM or front office person will say you'll take depth wing shooting over two of those guys over what DeJounte could bring. That doesn't mean I wouldn't take him if they got him right now. Like if they were able to somehow get the trade down and still get him with those two pieces, then I'd be ecstatic. But that probably wouldn't make sense fiscally. It wouldn't make sense personnel wise. But maybe I'm just living in the moment. But in the moment, I'm happy with what they got, especially if you take into account Bogdanovich's salary for next season. I think that's the piece that's being missed here, right? That most people probably glossing over. That when you're ready, you can probably package that. That's what they were supposedly looking for, right? That's the whole reason why. Who were they looking at? They had like a $23 million salary. I can't think of who it was.
It was Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown. There you go. Bruce Brown was the person they were possibly looking at to kind of fill two needs, right? Hey, in the moment and for the future. But you get to get two, or one, plus another guy that they're probably going to try to find a way to keep Burke at this point. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm probably a victim of the moment. And the moment is we have two really good wing players, one that Tibbs is familiar with and probably has a poster hanging up in his room.
He got the draws.
Yeah, he's got his GTD. He got the GTD, right? I think to wrap it up, I think they're Eastern Conference team, Eastern Conference Finals team.
You know something, Craig? You mentioned the effect on Julius and Brunson, and one of the things I brought up on the fan page today was this is one of the best shooting teams that I think the Knicks have had in recent memory. I mean, you're adding 40+% 3-point shooting team players to an already good 3-point shooting team. I mean, how do you see that effect on Brunson and Randall with that spacing? I mean,
It's like AI having shooters on steroids. Because if you think about it, right? Allen Iverson had a good team around him, a lot of role players, utility players, but none of them can shoot. Aaron McKee couldn't shoot. Eric Snow couldn't shoot. George Litch damn sure couldn't shoot. Mutombo wasn't going to shoot. So, but if you think about it, I don't want to make that comparison, AI and Jalen Brunson, but you think about that. Julius Randle's an above average passer. Brunson's an above average passer. And you just spread the floor, and there'll be a lot of Mike Breen banging going on, right? Once these guys come back, because they'll be hitting threes all over the place. So you just that's what the NBA is now: pick and roll, spread the floor. If Tibbs actually plays it, right? Just spread everybody out, and they can just pick teams apart, and they can legitimately go, right? If you think about this, I'm not trying to get too crazy here, but there could be a lineup of Brunson, DiVincenzo, Burks, Bogdanovich, and Randall on the floor at the same time, if they decide to ever play Randall at the 5, but they probably won't at this point. But just think about that.
But even as the roster is right now, they have it in the starting 5 and they have it on the bench too.
Yes, and you're doubling up. Like, that's the beauty of it. And it's just up to Tibbs to be able to maximize that. And that's on him to do. If he messes this up, then it's him. That's just how I look at it.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Let me toss that to Eric. You wanted, obviously, we know Gordon Hayward was huge on your list. You know, all of us like that whatchamacallit, that being an option. We all endorsed it. I don't think nobody really had a complaint. Maybe I think John might not have, wasn't full in. He's like,
this is best news behind him.
Move the hell somewhere else.
I was in on that.
But when looking back now, we know Gordon Hayward is going to OKC. I think he helps them out tremendously as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, you know, let's reflect a little bit. If we got these two guys, you know, one knows the system clearly. He was a little bit misused, as we know. He was the starting point guard for one half of the season. But, however, the skills that they bring to the table, they do make Knicks very versatile. You know, we're filling the wing positions. You know, we're filling out bench scoring, obviously. You know, what is your thoughts on comparing having one player as opposed to the two, if that player was happened to be Gordon Hayward versus Bog and Alec Burks? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, first, I hope that Dante can play a little 3, because we know Burks is taking over the point guard spot. You know that's happening. That's what happened. No, yeah, I mean, I wanted Hayward, but the reason I wanted Hayward is the thing I've been saying. They still don't have it. I like the moves they made, but they still don't have that all-purpose wing player that can do a little bit of everything, and that's what Hayward is. Hayward can handle the ball. Hayward can, he can create. He can score. He can still shoot from the outside. He's an okay defender. He's older now. Obviously, he's not as good as he once was. He was never a great defensive player, but he's a smart defensive player. I'll say, like Brunson, who gets all the charges. Hayward's kind of like that kind of a smart defensive player. But no, I took, when the trade happened today, when it first happened, and I just heard it was Burks, I was like, oh crap, no, this is not a good one. I didn't like that at all. But then when it filled out and we got Bogdanovich, yeah, like, he's old. Like I said, that's the part that bothers me. They're both over 30, but I mean, he gives them something that they don't have. He can create his own shot. I know people are like, what? Yeah, he can. He can put the ball on the floor, create his own shot, get to the basket. He's a good shooter, smart player. He's got that European pedigree, so most of them are very smart
for a Euro.
Yeah, he's a good defender for a European player. So, you know, they addressed something that they didn't have, and they added more shooting, which is always a good thing to do, especially with Thibodeau's teams. You know, he was trying to make OB a 3-point shooter. You know, he was trying to make RJ a 3-point. He literally tries to make everyone a 3-point shooter. So now he has guys who can like everyone. Just so now they have guys who could do that. So, I mean, if it's two for one, then obviously this is the better trade. Like, if you're getting two guys who can produce, as opposed to just if they got Hayward, you know, obviously it's a better move. But what I was surprised with Hayward is we kept hearing he was going to get bought out. I was surprised he actually got traded. That was my
lost his bird rights if he got bought out. Isn't it like a thing now?
Is it? I don't know, because he was maybe.
I've heard that mentioned a couple of times with a couple of different players.
Yeah, that's possible. I didn't know that one, but that is possible. That is, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, they wanted to do right by him. Obviously, he spoke very highly of Charlotte, that city, and the place he loved to play. His family loved it there, so they wanted to do right by him, I guess. And hey, they got a little something, right? Got a little something in return. So, better way to maximize an asset. Unlike, I have to bring it up because it's crazy what Detroit did. That was
We'll get
Yeah,
in.
what was?
They have a little thing going on there in Detroit that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, dumpster fire, little
Let
thing.
me just get to John real quick. John, was there anybody, when looking at this trade, looking back on these guys, was there anybody else you would have stood in favor than these two guys? Did you have somebody on your hot list? And what would that person be compared to the two that we have now?
Now, I liked Murray. I didn't want to just go with it, but I didn't. There were two paths to go, and I think the big Ragu kind of solidified his spot at this point. He really just, I think they saw what he did since all these guys went down, and I think that they decided we got our starting two. There's really no reason to mess with the starters. We got a good thing going. You know, if one guy goes down, the next guy seems to pop back up on the starters anyway. And let's shore up the bench. We lost our bench. We lost IQ. You know what I mean? Like Grimes he's day in, day out. Some days he's great. Some days he's not. Deuce is starting to show up. You know what I mean? But it was a good. Now you got two more 40% shooters coming off the bench. There really isn't any drop off. If you put our five guys on the floor with a center, either Mitch or iHeart, you could beat some teams in the NBA right now, our bench. So I'm real happy with it. I mean, this was a great idea. I thought you would get one guy, and I thought it was either Burks or Brown. You know what I mean? I'm glad to see Burks come with Boggs instead of with Brown. And I think Brown was like, he's playing for Siberia now or something like that. He got traded somewhere today, too.
He's still
he stayed.
He's still Toronto. Still
Still
Toronto.
in Toronto.
Which essentially is Siberia at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
It's basically is Siberia.
It is the North, as they call it.
They got better taxes than we do here in New York, but that's like the only bonus.
I'd like to go there for Carib, that's for sure. So,
And universal health care.
Joe, let's talk about you. I know you wanted Brogdon. That was one of the guys on your hit list.
I wanted Murray too.
What do you think
That
about
was. I thought Murray would have been a great move. Eric always brought up some valid points with him, that the fit with Atlanta didn't work out. He's walking into a similar situation, but I thought that maybe there were some maturity issues in the situation in Atlanta. And I think with a more mature locker room and backcourt mate in Brunson, and also coming to New York on a contending team in a stadium that wasn't half empty all the time. I don't know if you guys watch much Atlanta basketball, but
do they have a team in Atlanta?
They have a team in Atlanta. They just don't have fans that show up. Atlanta sports fans are terrible. I'm a Falcons fan, I know.
Yeah.
So I like that idea a lot. I like the idea of Brogdon plugging him in, but I didn't see this coming, and it's a Knick thing now. You don't see the moves coming; they just happen. They drop out of the sky like meteorites, and nobody knew what the hell was happening. We knew they were interested in Burks, and there was a lot of chirping. But we've talked about the Bogdanovich possibility for a long time.
Yes.
That's been a conversation that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at this team right now, and I am bullish on this team. I like the move. I like what we gave up, which was squat, honestly, to get these players.
Really, we did.
Seriously, 2 second-rounders, Grimes, who has been tantalizing in his potential, and we saw the potential, but he's not an alpha, which he needs to be to realize his potential. And Evan Fournier, and they still kept on to the flexibility of Fournier's contract and rolled that into another player that's more productive. I like the addition of the shooting. Both players can defend, too. And I have to tell you, thank you. I pulled that out from somewhere. I don't know.
By the way,
but I like this move, man. I like the move. I like this team. And like Perk was saying, we're deep. We're deep. Like man deep. And right now we could kind of weather the storm. I mean, nothing for nothing. You put Bogdanovich at the 4. He's another guy. This is another need that I brought up is we need somebody else that can drop 20, and we didn't have that.
Yeah.
Now we do. And even Burks can chip in 20 every now and then. I see him do it all the time. But Bogdanovich can drop 20 on you and hurt you. So I like this. It wasn't the move I anticipated, but sitting back and looking at it, kind of like Craig, I like what we walked away with, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I don't think that many Knicks fans. I mean, well, there's going to be some that are going to complain. Don't ever get it wrong. There's no happy Knicks fan all the way. There's 100 percentile on that. But you know, Eric being one of them, he's like, damn, the young people are gone. These old ass geezers are playing for the Knicks.
I do want to say one thing before I lose my train of thought, and I don't know how accurate it is, but a lot of people on Twitter today, which I can't believe I'm on Twitter as much as I am, made this very astute observation, and I wanted you guys' feedback on it. The statement that people are making is, or the theory that people are putting out there is that the front office held off because we don't know when OG's surgery happened, or we don't know if they knew he was having surgery. And they held off on releasing it until after this trade went down so other teams wouldn't try to get as much as they can out of them. If that is the case, I hate to say it because a lot of people will disagree, but this is probably why their front office doesn't talk for the most part, or they don't let things out. Now, I know a lot of people think or believe that they should speak a lot more than they do. Mm-hmm. But do they just shut things down just to shut it down so that, like, no, we don't want anything out? I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm sure Eric will have a differing opinion, and a lot of other people will have a differing. I'm just trying to throw things out and seeing that they stick. It's better not to say anything at all about anything, and then just cover it that way, or you're just. I mean that if that's the case, they're playing chess while a lot of the front offices are playing checkers. And I'll leave it at that. I'll shut up now.
Yeah, no. Let me give you some endorsement before Eric really crushes you. But honor Black History Month.
Yeah. Stay in your place, Eric.
Let me offer you a layer of protection. I'm gonna have to at least protect you a little bit. I'm gonna put a little security around you and say this one thing. I do.
Nation of Islam. Give it to me. Give me the fruits of Islam. Give it to me.
I'm gonna bring up a little bit here. I do agree with you, and why I'm saying that for. The privacy does help in this regard. I always think back to Donnie Walsh. That was one of the biggest things about when we learned about the maximum 2 slots and the fact that we heard that LeBron and Wade wanted to play together. Mm-hmm. And, you know, at first it became a tip of the hat from Mike D'Antoni, who was then our coach, and he was coaching Team USA, and he got wind that these guys wanted to play together. We all know the long story, blah, 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 taking their talents, whatever. However, the Knicks became very well aware of this. And Walsh was aware of it, and he's like, oh, bing, the light bulb went off, and he said, you know, what are we going to do here? We're going to work to get 2 max slots because these guys want to play together. Well, what ended up happening, he released that plan to the world about the max 2 slots. Mm-hmm. And what happened? Every team followed suit that was able to. You know, when dumping contracts, you know, we recall them dumping all these contracts, these open slots, and attaching draft picks to it. And lo and behold, we ended up with Amari and Melo. You know, hey, no slack to them, but you know, they know what the real prizes were, Wade and LeBron. But that leak in this market, they're like, oh hell no, Knicks are not getting these 2 dudes. We're going to do everything to compete against them so they can't get them. So I do agree with you in that regards. I think the privacy does help. We're in the mega, you know, media capital. The Knicks are always scrutinized, even when we deserve credit, we don't get credit. You know, we get dragged through the media. We have the New York tax. We got all these things that go along with being a Knicks fan or the fan franchise or whatever. We are always being scrutinized and robbed in any kind of trade scenario. So I do agree with you, Craig, as my soul brother, that you are indeed correct. But there's a colonizer that's coming for you right now who has a whole different thought on.
He's going to come in like Craig the Hammer Valentine.
And I'm just going to give him the platform because welcome to the Dolan Assassinator era. Go on, do your thing.
Oh, no. It's going to surprise you. It's going to surprise you because to me, that's what they did with OG, that's just gamesmanship. That's part of sports. Like I don't have a problem with that. My problem is that we haven't heard from the team president in a real live press conference ever.
Yeah, that's real.
That's my problem.
I agree.
We haven't heard. They don't speak to anybody. They don't speak to the fans. And I mean, I know people say this all the time, but it's the truth. We're the ones who go to the games. We're the one who buys the merchandise. We're the ones who are giving our money to support this team. We deserve to at least be spoken to by the people making the decisions. They don't have to listen to us. I would never say that because we're some crazy people. But they definitely should speak about the team and come. It shouldn't be all on the coach. And that's the only one we hear from. We don't hear from Dolan. Never speaks. Nobody in the front office.
You want him
Dolan
speaking?
I'm just saying.
The last time
Nobody
he spoke
speaks.
on the radio, we're getting KD.
Well, yeah, no, I know. Like I'm happy he does it. I'm not saying that I want him to speak, but I'm
That's
saying
that's my uncle.
somebody should talk from the front office. Like, why can't what the hell is Worldwide West doing? Can he talk? Like, let us know. Give us Brock Allard. Can he talk? He does all the money stuff. Like, can these guys talk? That's all. That's what bothers me. But what you were talking about, Craig, is different. That's gamesmanship. That's trying to hold information back to gain an advantage, which is what they did. And I don't have a problem with that. That is actually smart. But it's the other stuff. That's where I get upset. Like, I don't want these Alan Hahn, Bill Pito structured interviews where they're sitting in some office and just having this conversation, and they get the questions beforehand, they have the answers all laid out. That's what bothers me. That's it.
Kind of sounds like somebody sitting in the basement. That's all.
I mean,
I'm being a jerk. All right.
right, like it's fine. It's just, but yeah, it's just this was different. This was a different move that they did today, and if they did do that, then more power to them. Because
It's crazy. That is unbelievable.
that's what that is. That's just gamesmanship. That's all that is.
I do have an appreciation for being a silent assassin. I don't think you speak loudly. I think power is silent. I always believe that. So I do understand the lightness of not saying much and doing more. So I do give them kudos for that. And my kickback on them not saying much, but I do agree with Eric, the Leon Rose thing, you being a complete mute button on the television has just been the most absurd thing when you can literally just do a State of the Union address for the Knicks. You don't even have to have a reporter, side by side. You can literally do a 30-minute, this is where we are, this is where we're trying to go, thank you for your support and move on, just to be some sort of voice that you hear in the beginning and end of the season. I don't think there's nothing wrong with giving that. It doesn't have to be even a press conference. Even if you just got in front of the damn, telecast and without being provoked by Breen going bang, bang, and now bang, I mean, he's like reading up the cue card. Now you turn to the third camera and you smile. And he's doing everything to some scripted thing.
Sounds very, very familiar. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're a lawyer. You've been an agent for so long. Even if you're shy, there's ways that you can go and articulate these things in a public way. And at least someone could say, well, we've heard from Leon Rose. He said A, B, C, D, and, E, F, G, and he sung the alphabet and he got off the damn podium. And we'll see him next year at the same bad time. And that would have worked out well for New York Knicks fans who really only want, what do we want? We want someone to sympathize with our pain and tell us it's going to make better. That's all we want to hear. We understand we've been crappy for 5,500 years, and, we're trying to make you feel better. And I think most Knicks fans, and even maybe the media, I know the media has their agenda too of wanting them to talk. It's their job to get them, hold them to something that they say and watch them either make good on it or fail. And in this market, I can understand a little bit about them being reluctant to speak out loudly their plans, to only have it get castrated in the end by all the media members waiting for them to fail and fall on their sword and screw it up. So I do understand. We've watched all these regimes, Isaiah, Layden, all these guys come in and they have these grand ideas and these grand beliefs that they're going to build a championship. But the one thing I can say about this, the silence has been golden because they are now producing results that I don't think none of us really saw coming. I think we all, as New York fans, are a little bit impatient, and we're like, well, what's the next move? What's the next move? But they've slowly found, maybe arguably, I know this got kicked back. I think it was on TNT when brought up, but someone says I think it was Charles Barkley said it was maybe the best free agent signing in NBA history almost. Jalen Brunson, because when you think about it, it's like, oh, more than Shaq. He's like, Kenny's got to have his BS statements, but I got the magnitude of what he's saying. The Knicks signed someone, and his impact right now, when you look at it for this franchise, is epic. Epic. This is a second rounder. This is like signing Jokic. Basically, he's a small version of Jokic, a second rounder who has changed around the fortune of your franchise moving forward. So, who would have thought that? And these probably, like Craig said, they got to be quite, calculating in any move because nobody wants them to get better. Nobody in the league, and including the media, wants the New York Knicks to be better. I don't find anybody other than Perkins, Crawford,
Zach Lowe.
You never hear anyone on any of the outlets talk about we want the Knicks relevant. They're waiting for the failure of the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand they do have to operate in a different way. What do you guys think? I'll throw it over to John. John, what do you think about the silence of the front office and how this move went? And do you like it? Do you want them to talk more? What's the story?
Like you guys were saying, a State of the Union at least once a year, maybe even at the half mark of the season, like talk like right before All-Star break. You know what I mean? We're gonna get back in the gym. We're gonna do this. If we're flying high, we're gonna continue doing what we're doing. If we took a little bit of a step back, right now to get on the horn and say, hey, we need to get everybody healthy. We're making moves to strengthen this team, and we've gotten better today. We're very happy to have Burks and Boggs on the team now. And to say we're really our concentration right now after this deadline is to get healthy and then come out there and give you guys the best product and make that run for the playoffs. And it doesn't have to say much. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, like the State of the Union and the halfway mark, but that's it. I like that he operates in the shadows. I like that his plan is not, you're not reading it on the screen and people are just guessing and throwing things saying, we heard from the barber that cuts, the ball boy's hair, that something, you know what I mean? And try and piece something together on the side. But I like it. I like that he's quiet. I like that he keeps everything close to the vest because he's a man of action and he's not a man of words. And I'm totally down with that, philosophy.
Good. Well, Joe, it's on you. What do you think about the silent treatment that the Knicks are doing?
I'm going to pull this together with Dolan. Now, from an ideologic standpoint, yes, I recognize that he should be communicating more with the media and the fans and all of that stuff. And from an ideologic standpoint, I could look at Dolan's conduct and say, yes, he's kind of a tool. His band sucks. He acts like a jerk. He's kind of a petulant child. But when push comes to shove, I really don't give a damn. All I've ever wanted from Dolan is for him to pay the luxury tax and to stay out of operations. And honestly, I am seeing competence at the highest level of decision making in the Garden, and that is it's like seeing an octopus fly. It's like completely alien to me because there's been so much going on that's just been terrible decision making. So he's competent. He's made good decisions. He's building something. That's what I really care about. Mm-hmm. I mean, should he talk to the media? Sure, but when it comes to it, do I care? No, honestly, I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think winning is the most important thing for New York Knicks fans. I know we were talking about all-stars and being voted in, and I'm like, I don't give a what about an all-star. Can you get us to the playoffs? Can you win a round? Can you win 2 rounds? Can you make us happy that way? I don't really care about all the extra stuff that goes into the fluff of the NBA. I don't need to hear from them, in that regard. I mean, I can understand needing to address the issues, especially when an experiment has failed. We watched some failures under this regime and some not so great moves. But ultimately for me, I don't care who they trade. They can trade the cheerleader Spike Lee, Ben Stiller. I don't give a damn who they trade. I don't care about none of the fluff. Is the product on the floor, and can we win these damn games? And can we be world beaters? That's all I ever want before I'm off of this planet. I could care less about the other crap that comes along with it. Unfortunately, what it has, it's been made out to be something bigger because it is New York. You know, we've had a couple of hit stains in the underwear here. I guess that's the best way of saying it. You know, we've had some streaks that have not been pretty, and they've been kind of, for lack of a better word, shitty. I mean, let's just put it where it is. And it's understandable. As Knicks fans, we've got some sour stuff in our bellies about the front office. But when I look at now what we've been doing, it's been slow moving, very methodical. This is things they talked about with Leon Rose, is that he was a guy that was to the best about what he does. He's not a very loud person. You know, he kind of conducts business in that way, in a matter-of-fact way. You know, not brawling, no chest poking out. He just kind of gets the job done. You know, the World Wide West thing, I think, is probably the one thing that's been attached to Leon Rose because he was always the connector. Everybody's waiting for him to make the big moves. He knows everybody. He knows somebody who knows somebody, and he's going to be the one to bring in a star. I just don't see where that star would even come from, you know. And what the Knicks have done is they've made a nice pivot in adding some nice pieces. I do think they have a star. I've been saying this about Jalen Brunson. I'm not going to Craig read it from the beginning, and I'm going to definitely twisty tie that bread together and say that I think he's a hell of a player. I think he's a top 15 player in the league. You know, how can you deny that when you look at what the Knicks are minus what they need? They need 3 of our 5 starters out of the game. That's the way I look at it. You have 3 out of our 5 starters that are not playing right now. And we got a record of 14-1, and I don't know what tonight's going to bring if he's playing, but you know, obviously we know the injuries are starting to catch up to us a little bit. But he's put on a hell of a performance. The Knicks have not, you know, fell off the roof, you know, at any point during this stretch, minus having Julius gone, you know, the second best player on the Knicks. So, you know, I don't know. I just think that this kind of move and how they went about doing their business, and they still could do more business. From what I understand now with the trade, they left them with a roster spot. What they got, like $2.5 million? Did I read that right? $2.5 million to actually sign a buyout candidate. Mm-hmm. So we are.
They can pay more than almost everyone else, I believe. Right?
Yeah. Yep. That's the kicker. If you have extra monies, usually buyout candidates get very, you know, the small check. Not like it was small to us, but it's small by NBA standards. But we can offer that security and sign them for 2 years. I think it is on a buyout candidate. Mm-hmm. So, you know, who's on that list? I mean, we talked about Killian Hayes being let go.
No, we didn't, but now you just did.
Yeah. How did that even happen?
We can bring him up. I mean, we don't want to go too off the Knick thing, but let's talk about a guy like Killian Hayes. You know, basically Detroit says, we don't need your services anymore. Get the hell out the building and don't come back. We don't need you to clean up at the room. Go. You know, we're not going to charge you any gratuity. You go. Leave. I've never seen a player step and pick other than if they have like some issues, off-court issues, get let go and said, don't bring your ass back.
Oh, are we going to know more about that the next couple of days, though? Just like you said, is there a background story why they released him? I mean, Kevin Knox still has a job. Okay? And this dude, nobody wants to take a flyer or like you want to just let him walk? Like he could have been part of some sort of trade or something.
He wasn't. Yeah, he's not a bad player either. Like, you know, not great, but he's definitely an NBA player. He averages 5 assists. I think he only plays like 20 minutes a game.
It's a lot better than the French point guard that we drafted.
Exactly. Right? It's a lot better than the French guy we drafted. Yes.
He's 22?
So, yeah, he's 22.
Yeah, come on.
You know, he's not a good shooter. That's the one thing about him. He's not a good outside shooter. But, I mean, if you want someone to come in and steady the team for a while and, you know, come off the bench and run a little point and who can set guys up, he can do that.
I want to add one.
Fill up more than a few box scores, though. I mean, he has the capability of scoring, and you can see time to time.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen there. It's going to be interesting to see how that one folds out because it's very much that's the type of player I like to take a flyer on. Someone who's still young.
I would.
Yeah, high. That seems to have a high basketball IQ. When you just look at the numbers and how he plays the game. Has to improve as a shooter, sure, yes. In this league, that's important now. You can't be a bad 3-point shooter. You have to at least be passable. But I don't know. Detroit is such a mess. I can't believe they're in the situation they're in. I always thought Monty was a good coach. Maybe we were wrong. I have no idea how to read that situation but they are a complete mess. And I mean, I expected more guys. I expected, more players from that team to be traded today. I really did.
Well, Ty said that there might be a war in the front office.
Yeah, that's what the talk is that there's some discrepancy with the decision makers. Killian Hayes was, supplanted from supplanted, what's his name?
Ivy.
Ivy from the starting.
Yeah.
They made him. It's like you're going to the bench. This is when there's been a lot of turmoil in Detroit. I don't see an avenue where I sit Jaden Ivey for Killian Hayes. I mean, not that Hayes is trash, but it's like you drafted Ivy for being a dynamic modern day player. Why would you all of a sudden say you go to the bench and I'm going to start a guy who's had some struggles offensively as we've known, and they've been trying to build him into being a point guard for that team moving forward, and he's probably more of a backup. I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is how the draft pans out. You're a serviceable player. That'll make you might not be the great player they thought you could be. But he came in as a little bit of a project.
He did.
You got to spend time developing these guys, and I know John don't want to hear anything about French people that's playing basketball on his radar. No baguettes, no French fries, none of that. No foie gras. He don't want to hear none of that.
Nope.
John don't even cook with butter. That's how much he don't want to hear about French players.
Haven't liked a French player since Tony Parker.
Yeah, and he's been the one. Him and is he the only one? Is he the only
one that I liked? Yeah.
Who's
No, Boris Diaw was good.
Yeah, Diaw.
Diaw was pretty good, but he was a role player. He wasn't Tony
Diaw
Parker
was
was
good.
a front man.
And who's the small forward that's been playing forever? I think he's on Philly right
Nick
now.
Batum.
Nick Batum.
Oh yeah, Nick Batum.
Yeah, he's been
play.
decent. He's been decent.
Good
Oh,
defender for
I guess
French.
Still ain't changed my mind here.
And of course, Victor, right? Now we have to say Victor.
Wembyama. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, he looks like he's not the traditional European player. Like he looks like he's more of an Americanized. Like he likes the glamour of being the guy, and those guys are usually more backseaters. It seems willing to be blending into the team concept. But yeah, Killian Hayes. I mean, I don't think it would be the worst thing to happen if the Knicks were able to maybe snag him on a buyout market.
It'll probably be Lowry.
That's my guess. I would think Lowry would be a guy they would say bring him in. I know Craig is just ecstatic hearing that.
You guys aren't crazy about bringing Robin Lopez back?
Yep.
Well, if we didn't have maybe a backup, that might be
Right.
We have a lot of good depth at the five. At least it seems like
the all-interview team. He gave us another guy for the all-interview team. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's for damn sure.
I
don't know. I think we definitely could use. I mean, let me throw that out to you guys. What do you think? Do you think we need something? I mean, we know health. Let's just get that out the way. We know they got to get healthy. But is anything around the edges you think that we could use? Do we need a backup playmaker for Jalen to dispel him, or another big? I don't know. What do you guys think we need?
Well, I mean, you still kept Sims. You still got Achua. You still got Hartenstein. I mean, they have.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I just, for me, I'm always about just getting as much talent as possible, right? And if you can, on the buyout market, if you can get Lowry or or you can get Killian Hayes, you do it, like, or Marcus Moore or something. Like, I mean, because if you get one more body, you don't have to rush Anunoby back. You don't have to rush Randall back. They can just kind of take their time, right? Because Bogey can play the four, right? He can play a stretch four role, right? So you might as well go do something else and just say, hey, Julius, OG, take your time. Because I want to add this, and I'll be quiet. The great thing about the month of January is, even when, not if the Knicks lose this game tonight, when they lose, they still bought themselves a cushion in terms of in the win column, in the win column, and somewhat in the loss column. So they're okay, right? Until Saturday. Hopefully Jalen can play, and then you get Burks and you get Bogey, and they'll be okay. So even if they lose tonight, it's going to suck, but they're still going to be the fourth team in the fourth seed in the Eastern Conference with at least a couple games cushion to keep them steady until Saturday. You know what I mean? That's why I think these these two moves are pretty good because it allows Jalen to rest a little bit. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good thing.
Good. Who else want to take over? And what would you add? What do you think we need? Anybody?
Center. You've got one center that's coming off of a broken ankle, and you got another center that's had about 18 months of tendonitis in his Achilles tendon with a lot of inflammation. It's not outside the realm of possibility that sucker pops at some point. So I think, honestly, that's not a good injury, having inflammation in your Achilles tendon, let alone for that long. I think, God forbid, that happens, and Mitch, again, even if he's healthy, he's going to have to battle with the conditioning and get back into shape, which has always been a struggle with him. I just feel like you can't roll out a 6'7" center. As much as I like Precious Achiuwa as a bench player, I feel like you kind of got to be proactive because everybody's looking for backup centers.
Sims would be next, right?
Looking for them.
So, Sims would be the next guy up, and he's about 6'9" ish. And then don't forget Taj.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I mean, they're covered in terms of bodies, right? They're covered in terms of bodies. It's just if they're covered in production,
Right.
I think
You're not going to find, you're not going to find a guy like that right now. Lopez would probably be the best guy.
Did he get brought out?
Yeah.
Drummond might.
Yeah.
Drummond might too.
We got to jump on that if Drummond gets bought out.
Yeah, Drummond might get bought out too. From what
So as of 3:13 today, here's a list of candidates for the buyout. Number 1 on that list is Spencer Dinwiddie, Davis Bertans.
What? Dinwiddie got clean?
I'm sorry?
Did you say Dinwiddie got let go by the Nets?
I believe so. I believe he's a
candidates. Or you're talking about these were actual buyouts?
I'm sorry. So expected to be waived by Toronto. Okay. Spencer Dinwiddie, Davis Bertans recently traded to Charlotte, but you never know, they might not keep him, right?
The Raptors waived him already.
All right. There you go. Kyle Lowry. Corey Joseph. Furkan. Wow.
Korkmaz.
There you go.
Oh,
James Bouknight. Seth Curry.
He had potential.
Joe Harris. We forgot about Joe Harris. He's a free agent. Evan Fournier. Marcus Morris. Daniel House Jr. Killian Hayes. Thaddeus Young. Robin Lopez. And I think that rounds it out.
I'd like Young.
He's the only center.
Yeah. But
so
Young
there's something out there for the Knicks to do.
Player, so
yeah. So there's something out there for the Knicks still to do. So I'm about to say Scott Perrin. Walt Perrin needs that. That's his wheelhouse, right? He should be able to figure out, like, hey, this is who's gonna fit and give us the most production, allow us to just tell Julius, because there's clearly nothing wrong with Julius. I mean, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with his shoulder, but the dude's walking around with nothing on, like no brace, no nothing. He's just chilling out in dressing rooms with his wife, chilling. So at this point, it's just rest for him, right? So
Chetty Osman's another guy they named.
Chetty Osman, you said?
Yeah.
Right. So
another guy they named. Yep.
There's stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the question is, does he offer rim protection? this is
That's the pass.
Spray the ball, rim protection.
Ice.
The game tells you what to do. Does Robin Lopez fill that need? And I think I don't think he's ever been like a shot blocker. His brother, obviously, the better player, always.
He's a good passer, though.
He's
a good passer, though.
Good post player. I know he's a all around player. I'm just saying, I just know what this dude. We already know the MO. The cue cards already. What the template is, what he's going to say. He's expected for the position. So, what do you think, John? What do you think? Do you think we need something else? Is there any player in particular off of Craig's list you think that we could add in around the margins?
No, I don't think I'd mess with it, to be honest with you. The backup backups. You can let Taj go home again. You paid him twice. Let him go home. And a backup center would be nice, but you look at that whole list, and it stops at Robin Lopez for centers. So, like, who are you bringing in? Who's your backup? Because, like you said, the Achilles has been a problem, and I'm not going to count on Mitch, man. He wasn't supposed to play again this year. Now all of a sudden he's just miraculously getting better. He's going to have to work himself back into shape. Going to have to, play some games. And the starters look better with iHeart, to be honest. And now he needs to accept the backup role. How's that?
Yeah, he's backup vocalist as far as I'm concerned. Now I agree.
I don't think that'll be an issue. Like, they're friends, and they, I don't think
ego is ego, man. You know what I'm saying? And athlete's got some of the biggest egos I've ever seen.
Gallinari's on that list. I forgot about him.
Yeah. If they were healthy and he beat him out,
you did.
Gallinari.
Gallinari.
John's
going to read the pod now.
Another 8 pick, right? No, we don't want it. We good.
That's a trigger. I'm going to bring up Gallinari.
He was the 6th pick, and I would take him back. Yes, I would take him back. I would.
You would?
If he could. Of course. Why not?
He can't stay healthy more than 5 minutes. Availability.
Besides, the investment would be nothing.
What did the chick say from Heat? Is risk versus reward, baby. So let's.
Well, he's
been waiting all night to bring out a Heat quote, haven't you?
I have been.
He's got it all on Memorex, believe me.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry's got a big eyes. No.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yep.
We're talking
It's
about
possible.
Let's talk about some of the guys we got. Obviously, in the trade, this will highlight them a little bit. We're all familiar a little bit with Joe Luzarome. He's like, I can't take seeing this guy's name even pop up on the screen. But let's talk about maybe our possible starting point guard. Being that we know that he's feeling not too well right now, and
Hold on a minute. If Brunson's out for an extended amount of time and he starts works at point guard,
I'm not playing around here. This is real business. It's a possibility, being that the Tom Thibodeau don't know how to call a timeout on an 18-1 run. I mean, let's throw that out. Don't get me started.
That was poor.
But
But in fairness, right? We were talking about replacing that 15 points from quickly, right?
Yeah.
If it gets to the point where Jalen's healthy and he comes back by Saturday, which I think so, right? Because he walked out of the arena apparently with no limp whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
So that's your replacement for quickly right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably more efficient shooter. Not a better. I don't think a better player per se, talent wise, but I would say more efficient, right? More steady. No,
I'm not going to dismiss him not being better than Quickly. I think it's the dynamic of what I think Quickly's energy kind of, and this is my opinion. Anybody knows I'm not the biggest fan, but I try to be as fair and about talking about him. But I think he was more dynamic. He was our young, talented guy that we brought up and through the system. He hit big shots. He played with a lot of energy, and he was a fan favorite. Fans, we all know we find that one dude that we're in love with. And we're like, oh, it's going to be him. And meanwhile, we know he's a 15th scrub on another team. It's just what we do. Because we've been so abused for so many years. We just want one of our own, and quickly come in. And it's like, oh, nobody even watched the shooting percentage. Nobody cared about that. Dude can't really shoot, but he's a gunner,
Ricky Lito was a dynamic player. I loved Ricky Lito. Guy had game. It's a nut job. I mean, sorry.
Look,
I'll die on that hill. Ricky Lito was good.
We had to half the Knicks fan base fighting over Ntilikina. So this just lets you know how
that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire fandom, where they clung on to a scrub in such a way that he had this cult-like fan base of people. You don't know Frank, he just ain't getting the chance. Yeah, okay. All right, man. And another French guy.
Look,
But he's still somehow in the NBA, though. I mean,
yes,
I
surely.
just
He still got a job, but Detroit told Killian Hayes to go home. All
that's
right? Come on now.
Get your ass out of here,
Roll
Kelly.
Someone has to order the pizza on the road. So Frank got that's Frank's job. That's
French
what he does.
pizza. Get
Oh
outta
my
here.
God.
He probably puts pineapple on his pizza. Loser.
Look at that. Look at that
When they
escargot.
played us-
That's what he's
Yeah,
telling
look
you.
at that. Escargot.
When they played us, they put him in for about a minute before he fouled somebody beyond the 3-point arc. I don't know. It was either Jalen or Ragu.
Oh, Jalen. He's Jalen.
Yep. He was out there for half a minute. I was just like, yep, don't miss you for a second, brother. Not for a second.
Yeah, but you know, we love our scrubs in New York. Clearly, I mean, that's it's
Yeah.
just,
But that was cult like.
What's that?
That was cult like. That became like another level of
Oh,
people
yeah.
defending this one dude. And you were just like, what do they see that I don't
Oh.
see?
I hated him
I
from.
think-
I shouldn't say hate.
Some of
I
us
just
just wanted it to work.
You severely disliked him, Eric. Yes. Say it again.
from day one, I was not a fan.
I think I just wanted it to work, man.
No, I think
We
we
all
all.
wanted it to work.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I wanted it to work. I wanted it to be wrong, but I did not like him. at
Well,
all.
look, we could have all did what Ramon Sessions did. I don't know if you guys probably don't read as much garbage as I read, but Ramon Sessions was the guy who was quoted as saying when under the Ntilikina was under his tutelage when he was a Knick, he says, "I am raising the next Kyrie Irving." None of us were that bad.
What?
Yeah,
He
I
did,
just
he did say that. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
he said
well,
that,
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like I'm working with
You
the
like
Knicks.
dating his sister or something like that?
I don't know, but after that crack pipe fell out of his pocket.
Yeah, right? Woo, that's a Bobby Brown. Drop the coke on stage.
Woo.
Whoa, whoa,
Prerogative.
no.
But the truth about Aroni is that his ass wasn't that damn good to be talking about everything. I mean, just because you can dribble out your mouth don't mean you can dribble on the floor. Let's get that
Yeah.
crap out of here. Are you serious? Guy with the best handles maybe ever been proclaimed to have the best handles in Ntilikina. You up next, bro.
I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo.
He didn't even play top level French basketball. Like that's. I'm
Nope.
sorry. We're going
Yeah.
down this road, and I don't want to go there.
Let's talk about Frederick Weiss next.
Look at you down this
Let's-
road. Because look where we are not on that road again. You know, that's why
I
I'm saying,
know.
guys, like we look back and reflect a little bit.
This is,
You know,
this
talk
is
about-
why I need one of you guys running the show, because we would wind up in places like this every night. Like I needed like vision.
Yeah, no, it's very true. It's very true. But look at but you know, like I said, we got a guy like Alex Burks. You know, favorite Tom Thibodeau. He got the poster on his wall, like it's like he's a rock star, a rap star, whatever. Like the pinup calendar is Alex Burks. We know he'll probably misuse him to a degree. We all know that, but being that we don't really have a qualified backup point guard. I mean, I like Deuce. I think Deuce has been like a surprise, to be honest. After getting that extension, we've seen him blossom into something special. He's hit a lot of clutch shots. Talk about shooting. When we talk about shooters on the Knicks, this guy you got to add to the list. You know, I think he's shooting like 46% from 3-point range, which is absurd. Who would have? No one had that on their bingo card to see Deuce play at this level right now. We know that he was a hard worker. Craig got his finger up. Go on, Craig. Knock it out.
You're muted.
Oh, I'm muted?
No,
Craig is.
Craig is.
Oh, Craig
Sorry.
is muted.
Sorry,
there
I
you
still don't trust him though.
No, I ain't.
I think he's earned the right. I think that he's shown obviously what he has, but when the playoffs come around, I do not trust him.
No,
There are times when he just goes, just dribbles around, and he goes nowhere. So that's why I would
That's
not
true.
be adverse to like a player like Kyle Lowry.
Don't say
say it.
in the,
Lowry.
because I'm just being honest. No, I'm being honest and I'm being transparent. As much as I don't want it, I'm not the biggest fan because of some nonsense that happened 15 years ago. If I
Brunson can take charges together.
yeah, exactly. They can hold hands and take charges together. I trust him.
Yeah.
If they have to play Miami in the playoffs, I definitely trust him over trusting Grimes. You see what I'm saying?
So he's going to win one out of spite, is what you're saying. It's Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
If we play
Yeah. I'm just being honest. I mean, I have to be able to be fair in my assessment. Because Tom
Yeah,
Thibodeau saw what a somewhat locked in Lowry can do in the playoffs, right? So
yeah,
I'm just saying, like,
he has
you have
those
to be
moments.
able, you got to be
He
able
does.
to call balls and strikes, and in this case, even a Kyle Lowry playing 15 minutes a game in the playoffs helps you. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, no, because we have the guy now. We keep looking past him. He's right on the screen. That's the point guard, guys. That's who's going to be handling the ball when in
Okay,
the playoffs.
that's fair.
That's the backup.
And
It will
that's
be
fair.
Burks.
And that's fair too, right? I mean, that's fair, right? I'm just saying, if you're going to go out there and spend money, you should just spend it on somebody who's got championship pedigree, right?
Right. All kidding aside, when it comes to Burks, though, I mean, guy can score. Like
Yeah.
we know that guy
He's
can
a
score
bucket.
points.
Yeah.
He's still a bucket.
he's a
Yep.
bucket.
So I mean, one of the biggest things that we lost when we got rid of Barrett and quickly was offense, and now we have another guy here who can score and create offensively. So right, two of them, but
Two guys.
we're talking about Burks now. So yeah, so that's the biggest thing about bringing these guys back. And like Ty, like you said before, he knows the system. He's not going to have to take any. There's no learning curve with him. He can plug him right in, and he can play right away. And I'm sure they're going to need him at least early, because who knows when Brunson's coming back, and they're going to need someone to score. It can't just be Dante, who now that's who the guy is right now. So
Yeah, it's incredible what he's been doing too.
I know.
Shout out to him.
Love
Let's
the kid.
bring up Bojan. I mean, I'm going to be very forthcoming. I don't know a lot about him. I know he played in Utah. We know in Detroit. I've heard about his game a lot.
There's a
but
net. I think he was drafted as a net.
I never saw a lot of his gameplay, but those that are more informed, I know Eric would know probably more. Joe seems to know. You know, you guys take the lead on talking about this guy and what he brings to the table, other than we know shooting. But what have you guys noticed from Bojan that will be there?
I think Eric kind of cleaned it up with him before. I mean, he's somebody that can score in a number of different ways. He is a threat.
Mm-hmm.
He can drop points on you in bunches. And the point that I brought up before, he's actually a pretty darn good defender. He's known of being he's pretty sturdy. He's, probably about 240 pounds. He's somebody that can rebound. He's got a lot of nice things about it. It's just like Eric has said, he's old. But to get him for what we got him, I know last year they were talking about Detroit wanted 2 number ones for him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Line. Adding somebody of his ilk.
How old is he? I'm sorry, I want to just
34.
34.
Okay.
But he's got an old man's game. He's not, it's not like, an athletic game that's 34. I mean, but I think Eric covered it really well. I think that he brings something that we don't have, and that's a third person right now on this team that can put up a bunch of points.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 20 this year and last year.
Yep.
So, I mean, he could definitely – and that led Detroit, I think, because last year Cunningham was out. This year I think Cunningham leads him, but he's still – he's still doing it. So, I don't know how the volume switch is going to affect him, because he's obviously not going to get the same shots here. So that's going to be an adjustment for him, I'm guessing. But I mean, he's a European basketball player. That's what he is.
Give me a comparison to someone that we.
Is he Gordon Hayward? Is he a European version of Gordon Hayward?
No, I don't think he's as good a ball handler as Hayward is. I think Hayward's a better ball handler than Bogdanovic is. Comparison to a Euro?
Keith Van Horn.
Anybody. I don't care.
Anybody.
Keith Van Horn.
Doesn't matter if he's black or white. Let's stick with the team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to think on that. I'm gonna have to think on that one for a little while.
Not Van Horn.
Not Keith
No,
Van
no, no.
Horn?
He's
Not even
No, I don't think Van Horn. He doesn't look like Van Horn was a pretty athletic dude. I don't.
He was actually.
He was a big dude, man. Yeah, like
Dumbass socks.
Yeah, them socks.
Roll
Roll out. Naps was never going to get cold in those damn socks. He used to
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to think. That's a good question, because he's unlike a lot of guys, a lot of those very good basketball players. That's who he's like. He's like a lot of a guy who is not a star, can carry you for a little while, can score for you for a little while. And like Joe said, for a European guy, he's you would be surprised how good he is defensively, which is one of the reasons why I think we got him, because we know this coach and defense.
You'll play him.
Yeah.
How about this? How about a more consistent Gallinari?
I was thinking Gallinari when you said
That's not bad.
That's not a bad comparison. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair one.
Gallinari, a better defender.
He was when he was younger, before he had all the injuries.
Before the ACL.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, it's weird. I shouldn't say I follow European game, but every once in a while I'll watch clips of European players, especially the ones that haven't been drafted. But Bogdanovic is before my time doing that, so I don't remember from that time. But yeah, I mean, he's been productive wherever he's been, right? Like, he's never not been a productive player. So, and he has that European pedigree. He knows how to play, those kinds of things. So that I never worry about getting Euros when it comes to that. Maybe Frank, but other than Frank, when it comes to that, I don't worry about European guys knowing how to play the game or having to learn how to play the game. But yeah, he's both of these moves. Like I said today when we made the trade, when it was just Burks, I was kind of like, okay.
Like, what was Woj thinking when he put that out?
Well, Shams did too. They both
Like,
kind
what were
of.
you, did you not know that? Were you just trying to, like, I don't. I'm kind of
Well,
like
it was being reported first that
Right.
it was being reported first that it was two separate deals. That's what it was.
Right.
So at first it was just the Burks deal, and then they said they're working on another one, and then when we got the other report, it was one big trade.
That might be due to the fact that Shams and Woj are at war. Like, they're trying to be.
Yeah.
Oh, hit the thing button. Hit it now. Do it now. So it's probably one of those things where they were just trying to race to the finish line to get their first.
By the way, the Knicks are showing out pretty well. I'm watching the game.
I'm not watching it. I'm just taking the night off. I can't.
They're playing pretty well.
The Knicks are very. I told Craig
Down by
this
10,
when we were discussing. I said,
9.
one thing about the Knicks this year, this is the first time in many years
9.
in every game they play. I just feel like they can win any game. I don't doubt it. The Knicks man up theory has really worked here in New York under Tom Thibodeau. I mean, I'll give him a lot of credit with that. You don't get shortchanged by any player that comes in the game. It's full out effort. The only thing will happen is you might get the talent level is so much better on the other team that they just can't beat them. But you're going to get a dog fight out of them. I don't think
with Bogdanovic, Hartenstein, and DiVincenzo on the floor at the same time, you have like 3 really cerebral players that just play really well off the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if Hartenstein is at the top initiating the offense, like, it's going to be ridiculous.
How about Jacob Toppin getting 2 minutes so far in the game?
Oh,
Yeah, and that other guy played too. Charlie Brown is his name, maybe.
Charlie
Or
Brown.
Never
one
heard
of the other guys that
That
one of the
was
other
made
G League guys is playing. Dante just hit a 26-foot three.
Sounds made up. I don't believe it.
Who, Charlie Brown or Dante?
Hey, man, Dante the 26-foot 3
Coming in and saying, Linus Van Pelt.
from Naples. Hey,
Let's talk about him a little bit. We get into Dante. I mean, I call him the Red Hood Assassin. That's what I call him. That dude has just been lights out.
Yeah.
I don't
let's
even
just call it what it is. It's Villanova. I mean,
It is. The Cats is
That would be
good.
good.
That's all I can tell you.
Another level.
I mean,
Okay, what's
it's
what's
that.
Archie Diacono's problem then?
he's better than.
It's his name. It's his name. Nobody can say it. So
These last 4 or 5 games kept his name out of everybody's mouth, kept us from getting Murray, kept us from chasing Murray. If he flopped in these last 5 games, we would have chased Murray.
I gotta agree with you. I can't say nay to that because when you think about it, man, this dude, big shots,
Killing it.
shot takers.
and he's on a way more friendly. I mean,
He's
that
got some
contract.
always on him to take
Yeah.
those shots. He's taking
Yeah,
it, and
that
he's netting them. Every shot, that big shot. Look at the Griswold game. I mean, we saw, if he's not in that game, that's what I call the Memphis Griswolds. The Memphis Griswolds, if not for them, for Dante, we might lose that game. He was just a momentum killer.
Oh, yeah.
He kept coming and he shot down every rocket they threw. It was like, oh, you're coming? Bang. And this is literally who we saw in the NCAA tournament that year, when he became the most outstanding player. And that's the guy I knew I liked. We haven't seen him really in the NBA at the NBA level doing those kind of things till coming to New York, which is, thank God, that's when we are seeing him. But he was always a big shot maker and always came into the game, and he just hit those killer shots during the tournament that year. And I'm like, well, damn, this dude got some watermelons on him to be doing that in those big games, because not everybody wants those shots. But
What
we've
did
seen
Richard
it.
Pryor say? Got some gazongas.
He's got the coconut. But he's definitely playing. I won't discredit the Villanova connection in that regard. Him and Jalen are best friends, and they're showing it on the court that there's been moments. Like I said, it was the Colin Sexton moment I talked about last week. That Colin got into Jalen Brunson's face and was talking crap to him and talking about, Dante took exception to it, got in Sexton's face and says, "Oh, really? I'm gonna guard you and I'm gonna splash this business in your face." No pause on that one too, because he literally went down.
He did him on both ends. And after that, you're right.
Yeah, and he went off like, "Don't mess with my boy." And that mentality is awesome, man. To have right.
What? They're down by 37 points?
No.
Who went down there?
Hartenstein just made a move, hit a layup, got fouled, but then he was hopping around saying the F word.
Blame Joe. Blame Joe.
And it didn't look like it was anything serious, but that's what Achilles tendonitis would be.
Is he sitting down?
Tears.
Is he standing or sitting?
No, he's playing. He's still in. Like he didn't come out, and he doesn't look like it. Could have just been an aggravation, or he landed the wrong way.
He had a moment like that a couple games ago where he went out and he
but that's what I mean, right? And this is where the issue I have with Tibbs, right? I rarely, if ever, say anything negative about him. But moments like that, you're probably going to lose this game. I would have just went with all the bench guys and said, screw it.
Taj played 48. You would have put Taj at 48 minutes.
Yeah.
No, but Sims is out though, right? Sims is out, right?
1 minute his brother would get.
Taj, you're in a shooting guard, Taj. Come on.
I mean, I don't know. You got plenty of people in that G League team you would have called up, but I'm not.
That's what they did. They called up a couple guys. So
no, you called up your two-way players. You can't call anybody else up from the G League.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm just saying. Just trying.
This is the let's go. This is the one I wanted to get to. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to call this. This is the new rock group.
This was disappointing.
OG in the elbows. I mean, we talked about Dolan having a rock band. This is the real rock band that needs to be discussed, or garage band, or whatever. It couldn't be a hip hop group. I don't think I got to mix it up a little bit better than that. But however, let's discuss about the bionic elbow that's OG Anunoby has, because nobody knows what the hell's going on with this elbow. I mean, we went from a guy who looked like he might have had a boo boo to a ruh-roh. Basically, we are
surgery.
Yeah, because we're in surgery now. We went from inflammation to bone spurs to, by the way, he's already out of the hospital.
Wow. You don't tell anybody anything.
The cliche word in this era is he's had the surgery. Well, we didn't know he had it. We didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah, they really subscribe to the whole loose lips sink ships thing.
Yeah.
It's worked out in our favor, though.
What's that?
I mean, if you think about it in hindsight, it kind of worked out in our favor, right? I mean, because that goes back to what we just spoke about maybe 20, 30 minutes ago.
My question is, you're right. You're right.
That's it. I'll shut up after that. But yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, but it worked out because essentially, if that's the case, again, you've added depth. So that way you can allow these guys to kind of rest a little longer than they might have if you didn't make a trade. And January has bought you a cushion in terms of the win-loss column. Mm-hmm. So if they go out and make another move, it buys you a little more time.
Yeah, you stand the danger of Randall coming back when he's not ready and screwing himself up for the rest of the season, particularly because he's the type of dude that would come back early.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't even know honestly if he's coming back.
Ooh.
We don't know yet.
I mean,
they've been more tight-lipped about his injury than.
If it was just a dislocation, the big thing is rehabbing and tightening up those tendons and muscles and everything so it don't pop out again.
Right.
Most of it, after the inflammation goes down from the actual dislocation, it's not bad at all. It's very painful.
What does this say about
tightening everything up to keep the arm in the socket, because once you stretch those ligaments and tendons around there, it's just easier to pop out.
Mhm.
They don't really recoil a lot, so you got to do a lot of PT to strengthen everything around it.
So what does it say about him walking around like nothing's wrong? Is that just me being a novice?
No, because nothing is wrong at this point. The inflammation's down, the pain's down, it's in the socket, but he has to do the work to prevent it from popping out again.
So what is the work? What is that? What does that
Physical
look like?
therapy, strengthening up the muscles around it, and also strengthening up the tendons that are around it to keep it in. Because right now, after you stretch all of that out by popping it out, you could just yank his arm at this point and it would come out.
Right. Is it like a definite issue he's getting surgery this summer? Like, do you have to, or is he just
if there's no major tendon issue, if there's no rotator cuff issues, if there's no labrum issues, there's no reason to get surgery.
Yeah, but like
really
you said,
is
though,
just
it could pop right back out. And if it's that kind of thing, and
There's no surgery that you can do that'll fix that.
No, there isn't.
There isn't?
Chris
All you
Webber,
can do is strengthen the area.
he's done it. It popped in and out all the time with Chris Webber.
So he needs to call LeBron's dealer.
Yeah.
That
It's a
clinic
strengthening.
down there in
Oh,
Miami.
that thing. Okay, all right.
He's probably got good range of motion in it too.
Joe,
Yeah.
you've got more expertise than most of us, obviously. When you talk about the strengthening of those tendons and everything, that process, your expert opinion or theory, how long would something like that take to strengthen that back to play, obviously, a sport? What's your thoughts on that?
A couple of weeks, if there is no structural damage.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And it's not so much more about the muscles. It's also about, the muscles will hold it in place, but he's always going to be prone to that injury for the rest of his life. But it's going to take a couple of weeks, but it's not. If he comes back, he's at risk. He'll probably be able to play. It's a good thing it's his right arm, not his left. But still, he plays a physical game.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
He collides a lot.
Yeah.
So it's going to take what it takes, but that's the name of the game right now. It's strengthening and increasing the support around there to prevent it from happening again. He probably feels fine.
He looks fine.
Looks fine.
I'm sure OG's going to have to go through some of the same physical therapy too, right? Like,
let's parlay to that. Speak on that too, Joe. You're the
spur. His issue is going to be the inflammation that was caused by the spur.
Right.
So they're going to remove the spur, which I think is floating at this point. I don't even think it's even attached to a bone. They're going to go in, they're going to take it out, and then they'll probably put him on steroids and a little bit of physical therapy just to help the area. Because the thing with spurs is a lot of times tendons or ligaments will rub against it, or muscle. And if it's tendons or ligaments, it takes a long time for inflammation to go down because there's not big blood supplies to them. They're pretty avascular. They don't have a lot of blood running to it, so it takes longer to heal. So with him, it's going to be about decreasing the inflammation and whatever irritation was caused by the spur.
Can you could actually shred that muscle or tendon also as well on a spur, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If something like that happened, you're talking about a whole different animal. They'll probably, but again, that's physical therapy at this point. Unless whatever that is ruptures substantially or there's a major tear in it, they won't go in and repair it. They'll just have them do PT.
See, we're a full service show. We give you medical breakdowns. We give you it all. We give you everything. Yeah, this bothered me more. Not for, like I said, gamesmanship is fine. It bothered me more because I know this wasn't a new thing. Like, this doesn't just happen. This is something that's been there for a while, right? So he had this in Toronto. So I just wonder how long. And again, it's a pain threshold thing at certain points until it's not, right? You can play through it until it hurts too much, and then You gotta do something. And I guess they decided this was the time to do it. But yeah, I just getting damaged goods. Like, I know it's not career ending or whatever, but that just
Who are you blaming, Eric?
He's prone to this stuff, though. I read somewhere a little while ago that he hasn't played more than 70 games in a season since his rookie year.
And they always say it's always weird injuries with him. Like he missed the finals due to what he had. Was it an appendectomy? I think he had. It's weird injuries. Like the other one was he was in the house and he slipped on something. It's like he's out extended amount of time. What's that?
Hey,
banana peel he slipped on.
If I was a different person, I'd be offended, but I'm joking. Two things.
No, I didn't mean.
No. Joe, trust me, it's me. Like I'm just being a jerk. Two things though. Shams is saying that the Pistons just waived Gallinari. Okay, and I want to read a quote. I want to read a couple quotes. Ernie Johnson asked Kenny Smith, "Tell me about your Knicks." Kenny Smith, "They're not my Knicks." Dude, you got to get over that interview, man. You got to stop. It's not that deep, bro. Like he is. I understand as a journalist, you have to be unbiased, but come on, man.
Let me just interrupt you for a minute. You are the king of pettiness, and you're gonna be mad at him for being petty?
Well, it's okay when I do it.
Needs to get over it.
I'm a millennial. I can do whatever I want.
You should be like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a millennial. I can not have any accountability for anything I do. Okay?
I think Kenny is embarrassed. I think Kenny is always embarrassing himself. That's just my opinion of him as an analyst or analyst, whatever you want to call it. I find a lot of what they do on that. Hey, it is what it is. When you're full of something, it's got to come from someplace, right? So let's go to the cavity of anal. I've always found him to be a guy who, has been embarrassing when discussing basketball because I think he's enamored with talking to himself, and he has this perceived notion he has some basketball genius. And you're just here to listen. I know it already. Let me school you. And a lot of his takes are just outlandishly bad in a lot of ways. And I'm talking about non-Knicks stuff. So I'm not shocked that when the Knicks are brought up and he didn't get the interview, work out the way he wanted to. He's a hometown kid. Some people believe that's an entitlement that I'm a New Yorker. I think he's more of a Californian. I don't think he's been a New Yorker in a long time. But my point being is that, he makes himself look terribly like he has no credibility talking basketball that way. Because now you're showing that you're just a bitter dude. That, I will never say nothing good about the Knicks. Then, dude, why are you a journalist? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever why you would be a journalist believing that that's what you should do every time that subject matter is brought up. That's not my team. Well, it's our team, so we don't need you to be your team, but be fair in your assessment. When I fell out of favor with him was the Mitchell Robinson comparison. One night somebody brought him up. This is a couple of years ago, and I'm watching it, and he goes, "Mitchell Robinson, he's a nice little shot. He's a nice little shot blocker. That dude's not a nice little shot blocker. Just say he's not a great scorer, but he's not just a shot blocker. The dude, clearly is a great athlete. He's got a lot of injuries now, but don't dismiss him like he's just some little pea pod that you threw into your soup like he's nothing. And that's
the best offensive rebounders, right?
Yeah, he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the game next to Steven Adams. So he's not just a shot blocker. And then if he did the math, he only averages one shot block a game. So it's not like he's this prolific shot blocker. He's just one of the best offensive rebounders in the game, which are hard to come by. But he's not going to say anything great about the Knicks. I think he uses that platform to kind of always find a way of sticking a knife and turning it. Guys like Brunson has a lot of credibility in the league. When you look at it, there's a lot of people who love Jalen Brunson. The respect is there even for Rick Brunson. To know that this guy will sit there and act like that guy's just there's all these guys better than Brunson. Paolo Banchero, he took the Orlando Magic to the Eastern Conference Finals last time I checked. You let Kenny Smith tell it. Think about that now. This guy went to the Western Conference Finals, and Kenny Smith says Paolo Banchero is better than Jalen Brunson. You lost credibility. You might as well just not talk basketball about New York and just say I don't like the Knicks and I'm not going to talk great about them, because that's really what you're telling people.
Yeah, it's definitely personal.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Knicks, not only with that interview, but he was doing color for them for a while too, color analyst on the radio. That ended badly. It's just it hasn't been a good thing for him with this team. So he takes every opportunity he gets and craps on them whenever he can.
This says more about him as a person as opposed to a professional.
Sure. But like it's like John was saying before about ego, right? Like everyone has their ego. And I mean, the coach thing to me though, I was like, you never coached before in your life, so what are you mad about? Like, seriously, like you've never done the job. I don't know. He's Kenny Smith, all of them. I mean, I don't know. I think they're good together, and I like Inside the NBA. And Ernie Johnson is a great host. And if you've done anything in broadcasting, he's someone you definitely look up to. But man, I think their run is coming to an end, in my opinion. We lost Ty for a minute, so
I'll say he's the best dressed person on Inside the NBA. I'll give him that. Like, I mean, in terms of
Kenny?
Yeah, I give him that. But Jesus, let it go, man. Seriously.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a thing. So real quick, any of the other trades that happened today, or since I guess you could say since the OG trade, any other trades that have happened surprise you?
I think Dallas got better, but I think they paid through the nose for what they got.
Yeah.
I think they paid a lot for what they got. But Dallas definitely got better. The Buddy Hield acquisition was good. That was a nice pickup.
Yep.
But definitely I think Dallas walked out of this a better team.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because there weren't a lot of big ones made. I think the Knicks probably made the biggest.
Yeah. Is it fair to say the Knicks won today?
I think
they did. They won today.
I cannot imagine ever.
The early reporting on the winners and losers have all had the Knicks at the top so far.
Yeah.
Wow, this can't be real. Like this, I feel like I'm in Inception right now. Like take the
We're in bizarro Knick fan world.
Yeah, I can't process it. Like it's weird, man.
The only thing I'll say is the biggest surprise for me, I'll go to surprises. The big surprise for me was that Washington didn't do anything with Kuzma, Tyus Jones, Corey Kispert. There was a lot of talk around those players being moved, and they didn't get rid of any of them. So that was probably the biggest surprise for me today, because I expected one of those guys to get traded. And they did trade Daniel Gafford, but that was it. Like none of the other guys that we heard about were going to be dealt. Patrick Beverly got dealt to Milwaukee, I think.
I was surprised the Lakers stood pat.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one I was going to say. LeBron.
Yeah.
Well, they're already running cover for them.
Right.
That they're going to make a big move in the summer, which I still don't. I mean, compared to who, right? The Nets, the Knicks, Oklahoma City, they all have more draft picks than you do. So what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like. I mean, the media. I mean, they're segueing to the summer. No, I mean, no, you're not pivoting to the summer. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and obviously Oklahoma City getting Hayward, that was a great move for them.
Yeah. Western Conference Finals in my mind at this point.
Yeah, I mean they're a young team, and now they added someone like him,
and
a little bit of veteran leadership,
and they got so much capital.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
They got so much capital.
Yep. Clarkson not getting traded was a little bit of a surprise to me. There's a lot of chatter around him.
It's tough to give Utah what they want, though.
I mean, Danny Ainge
he's
like Daryl Morey,
Well, worse. Like he's somehow worse. I mean, I would have thought he at least would have helped out Boston. At least he didn't even help out the. You know what I mean? So maybe he's not, biased. You know what I mean? Like he will hold on to his. I mean, but it's no offense to anyone who lives in Utah, but no one wants to be in Utah.
No.
I mean, no offense. I mean, me and my wife were having a conversation last night. I asked her a poll like what places if she were moved to out of Utah, Georgia, Texas, and Washington State. She picked Utah. I'm
it's
like,
great
what?
if you like national parks, but I'm
why
just,
would you like
there's a lot of
why?
weird shit going on in Utah.
Hey,
Utah.
what I do on my Wednesdays is my business, Joe.
Please. I know people that live in Utah. The whole state shuts down at 12 o'clock. Nobody.
That's not going to work for me.
Maybe not in Park City during the winter. Maybe that's the only time where they have the skiing resorts and stuff. That's
Still,
Park City. It was the big
till
place
12
there.
o'clock.
You sound like what's that movie? Do the Right Thing. Why ain't no black people in Utah?
Hmm.
I mean, there are.
Black people on the wall in Utah.
I mean, they can't drink caffeine. They can't drink
Yeah.
milk. They
Yeah.
Oh
can't.
my God.
It's some crazy stuff, man. Those Mormons. No offense.
Did you ever see the South Park episodes on the Mormons?
Oh, I'm sure I might
Oh
have.
God, that's hilarious! If you ever get a chance to check it out.
Ty, we were just going through the other trades today. We were just
Okay.
getting a quick rundown of anybody that anything surprise you. I mentioned Washington not trading any of their guys. Jones, Kispert, Kuzma.
I mean, I just think about when Deadpool, man. That's what I call Jordan. That's just a bad experiment. I mean, for them, because he's just meaning Jordan Poole. He's just.
What happened?
I have no idea. He
That
just
punch, man.
Did it knock the game right
He's
out of him?
signed for
Serious?
a long time too.
He did, I
He's
know.
signed for a long time at like 30 mil per.
Oh,
He got the Barrett. He got the RJ Barrett contract.
he's got the worst contract in maybe in sports, let alone basketball, right now because the production. I think he's done as a player. I don't see where there's going to be some confidence built or where a team would trade to actually believe he's going to be an asset. I think
That's a toxic contract right now.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the albatross. Ooh.
yeah, he's baked cookies, man. Right now, and they're burnt. It's not good.
Yeah,
But
he
yeah,
got the
Washington,
12 Euro RJ contract.
The Lakers not making a move either. I thought that we would have seen something. The forced hand of Mr. Baldy himself. Half turf. LeBron, I thought he would have tried to push. I think that was the whole Nick with the towel thing was about. Him trying to force it. It's like, dude, get that garbage out of here.
Nobody believed that he was coming. I mean, come on now. Shut up. Stop.
He's so damn childish. I mean, a lot of those antics. He's like, dude, come on. You're like, I go back to what I said before when Dylan Brooks punched him in the face or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
This is some grown manism that comes out where you just gonna go punch the dude. The hell with the endorsement deals, man. After 30, no grown man putting a hand on me and think that I'm not catching a felony after that. Are you out of your damn mind? Let alone
nothing riles these guys up like LeBron talk.
What's that?
I was telling Joe that nothing riles you guys up like LeBron talk.
Because he's one of the. I mean,
every time I see LeBron stuff, I think of Craig.
He's a coward. He's a coward.
The first person I think of when some LeBron nonsense.
I just don't like those antics. But he, don't come over and try to leverage the Knicks for your work.
No.
That's going to work. That used to be. Remember that used to be the calling card of everybody wanted to use their team. No, I'll just go to the Knicks, man. Well,
Grant Hill did it. Shaq did it. They all did
it. Having it.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan did it. He threatened to go
Jordan did it.
move into New York.
Lots of guys.
Yeah. But that lets you know how much they don't want us to be relevant. These teams are like, well, the hell, I'm not letting them go there. Well, let's pull back the curtain and give them all the money that they want. It's like kind of.
It's because the Knicks are one of the few franchises, and Dallas, obviously the Lakers, but there's franchises that are a story even when they're bad,
right?
And the Knicks are one of those franchises.
Well, yes.
So, that's it. And a lot of people feel they don't deserve it because they've only won 2 titles, and they, So a lot of people feel like it's just a New York thing, and then that's how you get into the New York Techs and all this other stuff
The
that
big city.
exists.
The
Yeah,
big city versus everybody else, and everybody's jealous. Please.
What did you
No
guys think about
pressure.
PJ Washington going to Dallas? That was
That was a
I
good
think they paid
move.
a lot for him.
yeah. Joe mentioned it.
yeah.
I think they paid a lot.
Seth Curry now on the oust again. I would have thought. I thought he was going to work in Dallas. His shooting at least, but that didn't pan out too well. Nor Grant Williams. That was another guy who they moved the mountains to try to get him into Dallas, and another failed experiment. I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
Dallas
Yeah,
hasn't
he's-
been very successful. They've got a few stars, but like all of their role players don't seem to work out.
No.
I don't think that. I think Dallas lost a lot of its luster. I don't know what it was. I mean, everybody wanted to play for Cuban at one point.
They're
The
lustering
Jalen
by
Brunson-
9 right now.
The fact that he dropped the ball on Brunson.
Brunson thing was terrible.
I was
That is such a black
For
guy.
him, anyway.
Especially considering the numbers they could have signed him at.
Yeah, the first year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
$56 million, I think, was the deal on the table.
Yeah.
They would have got him and Luca, which I think works better than him and Kyrie, clearly,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Although Kyrie's obviously the dynamic-looking player, but Brunson is more of the winning player as far as I'm concerned. I know Kyrie has a ring, but he doesn't get there without LeBron. So, let's put it where it is.
If they had him on that contract, though, Cuban would have looked like Stephen Hawking.
I don't get why
Yeah.
it was poo-pooed against. Like, he just didn't. I just think they've been a
He
bad.
wanted a star.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Knicks, we went back to the we're talking about Gallinari, the Porzingis trade. Initial thing was, who got the better of the trade, and I would have thought Dallas's success would have been way better than the Knicks, but they've kind of been in the same tier of success for those years since Porzingis was traded. No
When
one ever
guys
had
are healthy.
the clear advantage. Right now the Knicks are the better team in the ranking wise. They got the best two dynamic players on Dallas, but Dallas is not ascended where you would have thought they would have gone with a player especially like Luka. Luka's a bad dude. So to know that they're no better than the Knicks record wise, I thought was a little bit weird. I would have never thought that.
When Kyrie and Luca are playing together and healthy, they're a very, very good team.
Yeah.
But they started the season out very well. But then I forget I think Kyrie got hurt, which he always does. Or maybe he said he was hurt and went to Guam or something for a trip.
Right.
This doesn't go
They
on.
had some frog venom.
Like, I don't know. He went somewhere.
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
I
man.
love that.
But yeah, when they're healthy and playing, they're a very tough team to beat.
Yeah.
It's just that they're not. You can't rely on Kyrie to be healthy and
Mentally or physically.
I was going to say, John, you took it.
yeah.
The same one. I was like, which health?
Which health are you talking about?
Now Dante sprained his ankle.
What?
Can't make it up.
He's sprained his
No,
ankle
stop.
before too. This is like a repeated.
I'm not lying. Why would I lie? He just took a
Oh,
three.
God.
All right, he's running okay. He's running okay.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of games ago he did the same thing where he
Stop
turned
making me
his
sweat.
ankle
I'm not
and
watching the
ran
game
out.
right now.
No, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I like Tibbs. I'm not like a Tibbs. I'm not anti-Tibbs, but this
He's
is one of
got
those.
7 guys. We're
This is
gonna
the
have to
moment
overplay
where
our
you
guys
should be like,
tonight.
you know what?
Get used to that.
Let's call this a night.
Pack it
And-
in, yeah. This is-
What do you mean? We're
That's
just going
not
home?
that's not in his
Don't come out
DNA.
of the locker room for the second half.
That's not in his DNA.
I just want to speak on something. And I guess we could wrap it up after that. But
Yeah.
Last week I was lucky enough to go to the Knicks Pacers game.
yes, we're gonna.
You were
I
very
got
lucky.
to go,
Lucky.
and I just want to say it's been a long time since I've been at a Knicks game where it mattered, and that game was like a playoff game. It really was. The energy in the place was great. It was sold out, which I was surprised because the Pacers. I know they're a rival, but they're still the Pacers, and people usually don't run to that kind of a name. But they were sold out, and it wasn't those fake sellouts. I'm telling you, every seat was full. The Garden was packed. Obi playing back there again, added a little juice to it for some people. But it was just an awesome experience, and I really haven't felt like that at a Knicks game, and I haven't been to many, but since the 90s. Like it very much had the 90s feeling when Ewing was playing and
Awesome.
those teams were a threat. So yeah, guys, that part of being a Knicks fan, I got to finally experience again, and it's definitely real. Like none of what people are saying is fake. The energy around the team is 100% real, and it was just an awesome game to watch. They were down 15, they came back. Brunson hit big shots. Dante, of course, hit big shots. It was just an awesome game. I do wonder how it would have been if Tyrese played a full game. I know he was on a minutes restriction for that game, so he didn't play the whole game. Because when he was playing, they were up big. But man, it just being in that building, there's something about that building. Like it's just such an awesome place. And when the Knicks are good, it's arguably the best sports place on the planet. I mean, it was so awesome to be there. And I just wanted to speak. If you guys get a chance to go to a game, I know you guys are weary about the prices and stuff. Go, man. Just go. It wasn't cheap. I'll say that. I sat in the 200s. I didn't pay for the tickets. It was a work sponsored thing, but I saw the ticket stub. So it wasn't cheap, even for where I sat. But definitely, guys, if you get a chance to go, experience it this year because it's fun. It was a lot of fun.
There's nothing like New York basketball. I don't know a better place that, and it's not just because I'm a New Yorker or the bias. It's just everybody in the league talks about playing in MSG and coming as a visitor. That's why I've never understood why we never had a star come here that wanted. It's about basketball because if you love basketball and you claim that that's what you love the most and you're a player, how do you not come to New York? There's no fan base that is as ridiculous.
That's true.
Fan bases when basketball is great. I mean, we saw the most ridiculous thing when they came back and were able to occupy seats. That was insane. That was the most insane moment that I think most fans around the league were like, well, damn, our fans don't even we play in Oklahoma. We play in LA. All these rich franchises like Boston. Boston may got the same little bit of the same raw, but I'm just saying, like, Knicks fans were out like crazy. The Bing Bongs. I mean, goodness gracious, the atmosphere. They won one damn game. So my calculation is that if you are a star in this league, you're like, damn, what if I win 3? What if I win 4 games? Or like what Brunson is becoming a cult figure now because he's gotten you to the second round and you're like, and he gets it. He gets it all together. When that Pacer moment, I get chills thinking about it now. When he got that and one in the foul and he said, get his ass out of here, the Knicks fans went, went nuts.
Yeah.
He knew what that meant. Get his ass out of here. He said, I'm like, oh, I was about to jump to the TV to get him out of there because I'm like, bro, whatever you need, I got your backup because we haven't had that dog long damn time in the garden. And it's just it'll be Eric being there to see that and get that vibe because that's what Knicks basketball. You people that don't know what New York basketball is like and being a Knicks fan, we're waiting to be that hungry for a championship. Like there's a meme going around or a video saying how Knicks fans won't be able to handle us winning the title.
It's true. It's true.
That would happen. People are going to be naked on top of the Empire State Building. It's just not going to be good. It's going to be great, but man, we're going to implode.
Yeah, it's true.
We will implode if the Knicks win a championship.
One of us was alive the last time they won a championship.
Only one. The guy in the corner. He's the only one. He might have been had a rattle at that point. Because Joe's the only one. Joe's the elder in here.
I was born in 71, so I was technically on the planet.
So both of you were
on it during the first and the third.
I mean, I guess I say of my lifetime. Yeah, well, there's 2 in our
You
lifetime.
don't remember
I
it,
don't really remember. Yeah.
Oh,
it was,
I sit on the
within
jinx
a real solid memory for me. I'd like new ones.
All I know is if they do win, I will literally walk from Rochester if I have to go to that parade.
Parade? Yeah, I'll be at
I
the
will
parade.
walk from Rochester if I have to.
They will turn the city upside down with that parade. I mean, seriously, I've been waiting my whole life to go to that parade. I will
Me
take
too,
off.
man.
I'll quit my job. Tell them I'll be back Monday. Bye.
I'm telling you, it would be the most. I don't think people get it. I know the Cubs went through it, and people talk about that kind of drought, and I
Not
get
yet.
it. They don't understand this Nick thing.
Mm.
The pain, like everything. I know I'm probably gonna cry if they win. I know I'm gonna cry. I'm like, damn, we've been waiting.
I know I'm gonna cry. I don't even.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
on it.
man,
I make $1 million bet I'm gonna cry.
Yes, I'm gonna cry.
because we've been waiting. I mean, all this that we talk about, and it's not because the Knicks have been great. We still come on these spots. We don't get paid for this, people.
Yeah.
But we still come on here. We love the torture of being a Knicks fan and wanting to we just want one trophy. That's all we want.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, and that's honestly what they're doing. They're going for it now.
I think so.
That's what they're doing. They're going
That
for it.
can't-
Yeah, these are now moves.
Yeah.
While smartly maintaining flexibility for the future.
Yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing. I said it earlier to the guys. I said, to me, the Knicks are the most in position franchise in the NBA period. Other than I might give OKC. OKC is right there with them. And I told Eric, my only nudge is that nobody wants to go play in OKC as a free agent or want to be on there. Yeah. So a star in New York, but the Knicks, there's nothing we could say about the Knicks right now other than we sacrificed the lambs, Hannibal Lecter and whatever. But but needless to say, if we continue to win like we're winning, we get special in a postseason, and we got assets. This is the first time I've ever seen this. I don't know if you guys think it was a better time as a Knicks franchise, but I don't recall it ever being this stable ever.
No. When you look at it as a whole, no. There's never been a time like this now where they have a good team and they're good, they're cap strong, and they have draft capital. I can't remember that. No, not even Checkets. The Knicks were always robbing Peter to pay Paul with him too. This is the best they have been in my lifetime when it comes to the whole picture and health as a franchise.
I would agree.
Yeah, this is definitely that. So, by the way, guys, Hartenstein is out for the rest of the game.
Thank Joe.
So
they're saying it's just a sore Achilles.
I know what they're saying.
They said OG was a sore elbow.
Oh yeah, never mind. I'll take that.
Hard to see him in the Paul Pierce wheelchair by the end of this year. Watch.
That thing goes, man. You're not going to see his ass for 18 months.
Yeah, I know. So they need Mitch to come back. They
might need Robin Lopez. I mean, we joke about it. They will need, because the thing is, and Craig punched the card the right way. Thibodeau's the one main flaw that I know there's a lot of flaws I don't like about him, but this ridiculous insistence that you play guys 40 damn minutes, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got a guy over there with an Achilles, and I mean, you're pressing the button to make it pop. You're not doing anything to prevent him or say, rest up. Let's not overexert him, because the likelihood that it can happen. And for him to never.
I know. Injuries happen according to him. That's it. Injuries happen. And he's going to run it the way
it's just the next man up.
Not to get too off topic, but do you want to hear something interesting about Achilles tendons?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, so my wife and I, this was right before COVID hit, like March, like right in the beginning. Went down to Mexico, and our first day, my wife blows out her Achilles tendon. The first full day that we were in Mexico, right? So we got to come back. Do you know that it grew back? Like, they don't surgically intervene unless you're an athlete or there's something wrong with it. They put her foot straight in a cast, and the thing reattached itself and regrew an Achilles tendon.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what they do? They
scar
suture
tissue that filled it out, but it's a fully functional Achilles tendon, non-surgically.
It was a partial tear then, no?
No, it was a full, complete tear. But the thing is, as long as it's a certain width apart from each other, what they do is they bend the foot down, and what it does is it brings those two bits closer, and the in-between fills in with scar tissue, and it's basically a fully functional Achilles.
That's crazy.
Cool.
They've been doing it in Europe for years. They're just doing it now in the States.
That's amazing.
Like right now, exactly what Marcus said happened. And CC me and Matt on it.
Sorry. You have powers. I have powers. I can shut people up.
Well, I thought I hit it too. I was going for it too. It was like
So yeah. But yeah, Joe, that's incredible. I didn't even when they do the surgery, don't they just suture it anyway, I think, right? Don't they?
They just suture it. But the thing is, the infection rate is really high on Achilles tendon repairs.
So
Doesn't sound like
yeah, well, I'm looking forward to one. Hopefully that worked for next football season. So hopefully hopefully Aaron Rodgers' Achilles is healthy and
that'd be nice.
have a football season to watch next year. But
It's a different misery.
yeah, Please, if the Knicks and the Jets win, guys, I will die. Like it will be. I will be dead.
Man. Don't worry about it.
yeah, I'm gonna die no time soon.
I'll give you chest compressions at the parade.
Yeah. I mean, oh god, it's happened before.
No, it has. But
It's happened before.
I'm not a football fan, and I really was trying to support my boys here because I know they're Jet fans. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna tune in. It's probably blame me. I'm probably the black bad leprechaun for that one because I'm watching. I'm like, oh man, this thing is exciting. Like the beginning.
Yeah. All four of those plays.
It was like one move, and I'm like, oh shit, he's down. I was like, I can't.
But you know what?
There's no way I could ever be a football because I'd probably be a Jets fan. And I'd be miserable like Eric and John.
But you know what I'll say? When it happened, I was not surprised.
Nope.
Because I have been through this so many times.
Yep. Didn't even blink. Blink.
Yeah,
I said,
I did not even. I was like,
and I walked away from the TV and went and got myself something to drink. It was like not even a surprise. I was like,
nope, I was not.
We can't
surprised.
have nice things. Come on.
Nope.
I felt so bad for you guys. I'm telling you. I was like, this is just terrible.
It's not the first time it happened either. It happened to Vinny Testaverde.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, come on.
Yeah. So like I said, this is the stuff that we just deal with. And at a certain point, it's
numb.
You're like, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It happens.
I think to tell you the truth, being a fan of a really crappy sports team will prepare you for like nuclear holocaust or like zombie apocalypse because you're basically able to take anything at that point.
The emotions. You're right. The emotions of it.
It's sadism. That's what it is.
Somebody holds you up at gunpoint, like, look, I'm a Knicks fan. You ain't scared.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What you gonna do with that thing?
Take me hostage. I've already been hostage.
Yeah. Think you know misery? I know misery.
Yeah, we've been at it for 2 hours, 15 minutes. For the people still watching, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's shut this one down. So, really quickly, Joe, Craig, thanks again. I'm sorry, John, Craig, thanks again for coming back, doing this show with us. It's awesome to have you guys here.
Yes.
You're welcome anytime. You know that. Just let us know, and we'll definitely have you back on. So, Joe, Ty, thanks for running the show.
Here's what I want to do. I'm
gonna mute himself. That's what it's gonna
do. You muted yourself.
You muted yourself.
I had muted you. So if you're listening to me, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think he muted himself.
He muted himself this time.
Come on, Greg.
I don't think that was meant for us.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to deal with work and this. I'm sorry. So you can find me on Twitter at Trays_Son28 and other places. Whatever.
You're in the multi-rose.
Cool.
Thanks again.
Definitely.
John, you want to plug your Twitter or what?
I don't have a Twitter.
You got rid of it?
So you cannot find me on Twitter.
Oh, you got rid of it.
What you said in wrestling? Parts unknown. That's where you're from. Parts unknown.
Yes, exactly.
No more Jay, Arizona.
Off the grid, on the grid.
No,
Arizona.
What it is. You can find me on Facebook most days doing stupid shit.
Oh, you're just fitting in there. Everybody doing that.
Joe, tell them where they can find you, man. Tell them.
You can find me on X at Upstate Joe, AKU for all Knicked Up, or on the fan page.
Yes.
for the show.
Ty?
X, Genius Scribble. Find me on the fan page, doing recaps, trying to holler at the peoples. Thank you all who do support us. It really greatly appreciated. Those who read my game recaps and just all the interaction. We got some great people coming in, and it's building out, which is a great thing. And I appreciate that. That makes the work that much more easier to do. Just love everybody. I mean, it's been great. You guys have been awesome. I mean, I really this is like what the brotherhood was about to begin with, and I've just been extremely ecstatic and having a great time hanging out with you guys again. And we'll have to do it again at some point. Maybe move to a Thursday once in a while, and kind of can get the group together. So I mean, bless you all. I love you guys. Brotherhood, it's all excellent. Had a great time. That's for sure.
All right, man. And you guys know where you can find me. You see it right there on the screen. At Finally33 is my personal Twitter handle. At all_Knicked_up is the show handle. Everything when I talk about Knicks, I talk about it there. So hit me up there. I also do a pop culture show called Straight Outta Gotham at straight_O_G on Twitter. We do a show every week. It's pop culture, fandom pop culture. We talk about comic books and movies and Star Wars and all that nerdy stuff that I love to talk about. That's all over there. And me and my buddy Pete, we have a great time doing it. So if you're into that stuff, look for that as well. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean is where we host. So if you're on Podbean, you can find us there as well. All right. So for everybody, for Craig, John, Joe, and Ty, I'm Eric. You are watching All Nicked Up. We'll see you next time.